Hello, good evening. Savva here from Football Heritage TV, joined for this week's episode, the 24th episode of the Spurs Review, by Pete and by Perchy. Sounds like an awful 80s band. Pete and Perchy. How are you, Pete? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah?
How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for asking. No one ever asked me. Thank you. That's really nice of you to ask. Thank you.
I'm just checking if we got a new manager in the time that your intro started.
Listen, for as long as that intro takes, Spurs were already 1-0 down today, possibly going on 2. Perchy, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for asking. Apart from watching Tottenham play, all good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's crack on, guys. So we had our pants pulled down at St James's Park, where we shipped 6 goals, and I was assured it was because we went to a back 4. We then conceded two goals in terrible style in the week against Manchester United at home, and then today, within 15 minutes, we are 3-0 down to a good Liverpool team, no more, no less. I don't think I'm going raptures about them. Pete, is it just me, or when these goals go in now, is there, and please, hopefully everyone takes it in the right way, is there anything that's actually quite comical about this now? Like it doesn't hurt. I don't feel like when these goals go in, I hurt as a fan anymore. I just sort of like, wow, what do you think? What's your feeling?
I think now we're just thinking, how bad can it get today?
Yeah,
that's sort of where we're at now. To be honest, I mean, if my son ever wanted to go to the circus, I'd scrap that and save a few quid and just say, look, just watch this, and then watch these two at the back, and then you've got a couple of clowns there. It's a joke, isn't it? You got to laugh because the defending is just comical. If that was any other club, we'd be in hysterics. So
yeah, absolutely. It needs Benny Hill music, doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs Chuckle Brothers, whatever you want to call it. They are. Yeah. It is absolute embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean, Perchy, you were the same milk. Like, I was sitting there watching it with Graham, and as the first goal went in, I literally went like I just laughed because it's like this is the norm now. This is Tottenham Hotspur. This is what years and years of neglect looks like on a pitch.
No, I mean, I when they went in, I just laughed because it's incredible when you think about it. Let's work it out. By the way, we've conceded in the last 3 games 9 goals before the 25th minute. 9 goals in the last 3 games. We haven't even got to halfway into half time, and we're already. And I was saying backstage, and this is the thing: it doesn't matter what team you are. You could be Manchester City and being 3-0 down in 15 minutes away from home. What are you expecting? We went 1-0 down in 7 minutes against Man United. We were 5-0 down in 21 minutes against Newcastle. Yeah. What is wrong with us there's got to be a problem with us in the sense of, why does nobody just say, do you know what, guys? We keep shipping goals in early. Let's sort it out. But no, it's the same again, rinse and repeat. It wouldn't shock me. Zaha, put money on Zaha scoring in the first 10 minutes against us on Saturday. Because that's what's going to happen, isn't it?
Jordan Ayew could be worse.
Jordan Ayew doesn't pick anyone.
Look, I mean, guys, for me, what I find interesting about the whole thing, and by interesting, I just mean what I find funny about the whole thing is Ryan Mason's come out at the end there, and this is where I want to start. Before we go into the ins and outs of the game, Ryan Mason has come out in an interview at the end and said that we were a better team by a country mile. Now, Pete, how can anyone that watches his team defend like that have 32% possession of the football, right? Concede 90 seconds after getting back into the game to 3-3, have the cheek to come out on camera and say, we were the better team by a country mile?
I mean, we had the better chances. We created better chances, but I don't say we were the better team. I think we've benefited twice now where Man United, basically the first half, demolished us. Could have been anything. And then just took their foot off the gas and they were knackered. Liverpool today done the same thing. We got 3-0 up and then took their foot off the pedal. But Liverpool that was Liverpool last season. That's 6 or 7 easily because they don't let up. This year, there's a different Liverpool, so you will get chances against them, no matter what score it is. And do you know what I mean? They will give you chances. Man United, when they're putting them away, they still create chances. Our winners couldn't score any of them, but we did.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way we're a better team than that. We got thoroughly what we deserve. You can't start like that and then say you deserve something out of the game. Sorry, I'm not having it.
Agreed.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
what did you say? You don't think we deserved anything out of that game?
Not for the way we started, no.
Yeah, but it's a 90-minute game.
Yeah, but you can't start like
welcome,
that.
Sean.
Again.
Welcome, Sean.
Again. Yeah, who's this?
Yeah.
What?
Here he comes.
Sean's come steaming in like Romero goes out slide tackling people. He's gone, Sean, listen, what we're talking about, I'm sure you probably heard some of it if you were watching while logging in.
I've just dialed in. I haven't watched it.
Okay, perfect. So what we were talking about was Ryan Mason saying that we were the better team by a country mile. Is this deflecting at its very best?
Well, by a country mile is a massive exaggeration, but I think over the course of the 96 minutes, we were the better team. They had the first 20 minutes, 23 minutes, and then we had the rest of the game, basically. So,
did we have the rest of the game though? I mean, the only reason
in my opinion, we did. Yeah, we did. My opinion, we did.
So we had some chances, right? Because a lot
of chances.
Yeah, we had a lot of chances, but can a team that has 32% possession concedes 4 be the better team? I just can't wrap only my head. I can't wrap my head around
the possession narrative is such a. I hear it all the time. If you set up to play that way, then that's not something that should be held against you when it comes to reflecting on the game itself. If you set up to be a team that allows the other team to have possession, and you sit back and want to pivot, then that shouldn't be used against you after the fact as a reason why you didn't deserve a certain outcome. Like that I think that whole thing to me is an absolute nonsense argument. Not saying that you're making it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Listen.
I hear it made by people like Gary Neville and stuff all the time. You can't say that they didn't deserve it because they had 72% possession. Yeah, but what did they do with it? And why was it that way? Right? And I think that Tottenham set up that particular way. Listen, the first 15 minutes were shambolic. I'm as angry as the rest of you. I'm angry for how the rest of the game went. I'm angry with certain decisions that Ryan Mason made. I'm angry with what happened at the end. I'm angry with so many players individually. I'm not sitting here saying that Tottenham were hard done by or that anything else, but just to on a chances created, chances taken metric, to sit there and say we didn't deserve anything out of the game, I think is a harsh reality, a harsh judgment on the reflection, in my opinion. But I listen. I'm so over this fucking football club right now, mate.
You send me to.
If you disagree with me, then I'm not going to sit there and fight you on it too much. I'll fight you on it for the purposes of the debate, but I don't really care either way because the club has broken me, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, Perchy, I think a lot of fans are feeling broken by this club. Look, let's get into the game because we're going to talk about the wider picture after, but I want to talk about the game. Were you surprised with any of the lineup? Were you surprised that Longley was the one that dropped out, not Dier or Romero? Were you surprised that Richarlison got the nod again above Danjuma? I mean, would you think it was the right call? What happened?
I'll be honest, I didn't actually think much went. The only thing that went wrong was the start. It seems like it doesn't really matter who we play defensively. We just can't defend. Like, I didn't think some of the changes from Mason were that bad. I think even the start, I kind of understood. I thought maybe you would have dropped Perisic and maybe made it a bit more solidified and kept Longley and put Davis at left wing back and make him play more as a fullback. But I didn't think much was going to be much change. I didn't see much, but the bit it's the fact is nothing matters. People shouted at me and you saying that because we played 4 at the back, we conceded loads of goals right at the beginning. We did it again with 5 at the back today. We did it against Man United. We conceded early. As I say this all the time. We can play 10 defenders and we'll still concede goals. We're terrible defensively. And it's, do you know what it is? Is what's the worst part about it? There's some sort of organisation at the back that just doesn't happen. I said it earlier. I said, it's like the first 20 minutes we defend like drunk Sunday league centre halves that have just been on the boozer the night before.
Yeah, I can't disagree with it. I mean, look, I want to, just before I come to Pete, I'm just staggered how we watch him. By the way, Romero's not going to get away scot-free. We're going to talk about that guy in a bit, Perchy, because you know my feelings on Christian Romero.
And you know mine.
Yeah, but Eric Dier, week in, week out, same stuff, week in, week out, and every single time a team sheet is announced, there he is, centre of the back three.
Yep.
Why? What does what does Tanganga have to do to get a go? What does Sayers have to do to get a game?
Sanchez, anyone? Yeah.
Why is Longley the one dropped after the defense? Like, can you make sense of this Dier thing for me?
No, but this with the Eric Dier situation, this is why I don't sit there and go Eric Dier's crap anymore. I don't say it anymore because people will go, "Oh, Eric Dier's terrible. Get out of my club." But every single manager picks him. He's in the team every single game. So how can we sit there and criticise him? But he gets picked every week. We all know he's terrible, but you can't sit there and blame the player. He gets picked. Management think he's good enough to be the central centre-back at the football club. So I can't sit there and blame him anymore because how can you?
Yeah, I mean, Pete, what's your feelings on this? I mean, I, as you know from the WhatsApp conversation with today, I actually think Romero's been our worst centre-back for the last few months. And I know it's not a popular opinion because we all know how bad Dier is, but that man, Christian Romero, he hasn't got a brain, has he? Like, it just feels like he just constantly does terrible, rash things, and then it's always blamed on the defenders around him.
I just think he's got for me personally, he's got an attitude problem. I don't like his attitude. The way I think he thinks he's better than the club and he don't need to be here. Yeah. For me, this all stems from before the World Cup when he wouldn't play for 6, 7, 8 games, and then all because he's still injured, yet he's not ready to play, yet he's straight on the plane in the World Cup, and that said a lot to me about the man. But we see it time and time again with him. He's just got he's brainless. He is absolutely. I mean, the pair of them are brainless. To be honest, there's not an ounce of fucking intelligence between them. But
who are you talking about, Pete?
Romero and Dier, but mainly Romero at the moment. But when you watch Romero and what things he does, the way he runs back, I mean, he takes ages to get back. You watch him; he's always the last one back, running back like from a corner. I mean, your intro plays by the time he gets back. That's how long he takes.
That was good. Well done.
He's as you say, but he will run up the pitch to.
Tottenham have finished conceding 15 goals by the time Savva's intro's finished.
What makes you laugh? He will tear up the pitch to kick someone up in the air that you don't need to be doing. Yet won't come back the other way just as quick. And he's just since Porro's been in, it's probably got worse because neither one help each other, but. You think you're looking at him to be the shining light at the back four, and for me, instead of becoming part of the solution, he's also becoming part of the problem. I mean, I'd give him another year under new manager, but after that, if he's still like he is now, I look to sell because I think he isn't what we want, what people think he is. People think he's world class. He's a baller. I've heard Rolls Royce defender, all this crap. Not in a million years. Not in a million years.
If you what I was gonna say, if you can find the still image. Someone in the chat might be able to find it. If you can find the still image of when that first ball comes in for that first goal, look at the positioning of Porro and Romero. It's disgraceful. Shocking. They're marking nobody. They're standing in the middle of doing nothing. Both of them.
Yeah, that's on Porro. That's on Porro though, isn't it, Perch? Like Porro, like
but who's Romero marking?
Romero's marking the guy who's right in front of Romero. Maybe he's not marking him very closely, but for Porro to sit there and go, "Oh, what? We got 2-on-1 here," and he hasn't got the thought that there's someone behind him. I think that's on Porro more than it is on Romero for the first goal.
And just to sort of clarify on what Peter is, okay, both of them have been terribly defensively, but there's no communication on that. Right, we are so. Why do people not listen to the conversation?
This isn't what I said. I think Romero's a better player than Dier. I'm just saying lately, for me, Romero has been as bad. If we're gonna listen, I'm all for getting rid of everyone, right? You know me, guys. I'm happily rip up the whole squad, but I just feel like Romero, whenever we talk about how bad he's been, he gets excused. And I don't know why. I don't know what this guy has to do to take some blame, because he's been, and Neville, was it Neville who called him out? Redknapp did at half time. And then I think it was Souness at the end of the game, basically just saying like top defenders said it all along. They don't dive in. Top defenders do not
that penalty
dive in.
was a shambles.
I was just going to say, X-Man 819, by the way, saying you've got it in for Romero. No. I can be critical of a player that everyone seems to hype up at this football club. Every single person says,
again,
that's
Romero
what I'm saying.
Was brilliant against Man U. No, the first goal, Sancho ran from the side. Romero went out and instead of blocking him, just went like that.
Yeah. Yep. But after the first goal, Romero was the man of the match for me in that game against Man United. He was
clutching, I think, but
I don't know how.
I agree. So generally, I agree with both of your points. I think Romero is massively overhyped. And if he's got the capability to put in shifts like he did against Man United in the second half and in the latter stage of the first half, yet he does what he did against Newcastle, where he just didn't care. He was just jogging back when the ball had gone past him, and the same at certain times in the first 15 minutes tonight. Then you got a question. He's got the potential. His ceiling is up here, but his mindset, his dedication, his commitment, his interest, his application, execution, all that stuff is at like a 5 out of 10.
It's his attitude. He's a wanker. He is. He'd get on my nerves if I played with him. Because I'd be like, you want to put some effort in or what, mate?
Do you know?
I'll tell you what I'd love. I'd love Pete to just stop swearing and getting every one of my shows demonetized.
You passed the 20 minutes. You're good. You passed the 15 minutes mark.
You're not. New rules. It's limited monetization immediately, isn't it? As soon as there's a swear word, game over.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Get your super chats in.
Yeah, big up the super chats, help because. But I was going to say the one notion I hear from people, which really annoys me, is he's playing with crap defenders. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry. I'm going to debunk this immediately, because if you put Paolo Maldini in that back three, trust me, he doesn't make the mistakes Romero makes, because he's a top defender, and it annoys me. We can be critical of a player who I think gets lauded by our fan base because we've got terrible defenders, that we can't then criticize him. You can't have it both ways, in my opinion. You can't sit there and blame Eric Dier every week, but then can't criticize Romero.
Hang on, I feel like Mr. Box Office, unless
he's shaking his head.
I feel, look, it's coming. It's hang on. Everybody, get your hard hats. I feel like there's a rant coming.
He's wind him up.
He's coming after. He's either coming after Perchy or he's coming after me. I think that's
you're in the firing line.
You're the default anyway, Sean. Yeah.
Go for it. Let's hear it. Go on, Box.
Right, come on then, Alex.
Firstly, I didn't watch the game because I had better things to do in my time. You know what I mean? I had better things to do. I only watched the highlights and that's it. I mean, what did you learn? Nothing, because there's nothing really to learn from this at the moment.
Well, not if you watch the 4-minute highlight reel.
I mean, the first interruption already. I mean, I think every single interruption should be a 10p in the jar for charity, and that's it. So let's try it again.
Sean,
the charity stream.
Sean, have you got my bank details? Chuck me over 10p, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Micro donations. Yeah, nice.
The point I'm making is, I mean, I understand the whole thing about Jack's thing about Romero, but the point I think we're completely missing at the moment is that they both don't have partnerships. We don't have partnerships in the team. This is why.
But Romero and Dier played all season.
I can't have Dier in the team because, as far as I'm concerned, we've tried him for how many years now with different partners. It's not worked. Okay,
for sure.
If it doesn't work,
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
If it doesn't work with Romero, if you can't find a partner for Romero, yes, get rid of him. Okay, but the point I'm making is there's a reason why the Tongan and Alderweireld were very good because they worked well together. There's a reason why Ledley King and Dawson were very good because they worked very well together. Dawson without Ledley King was rubbish. Yeah. So I'm sorry. This is the whole point. We're missing the whole point here. Yeah. Until we sort out the whole chemistry of the team, okay, we're going to keep on doing the same mistakes every single season. You can have another manager putting in charge of this team, and you still have the same result, and that's it. Because you could have predicted that as well. Liverpool's defence is absolutely awful. What I saw, they should have won that game on the counter. 3-0 up, done. Game done.
You should have watched the game, mate.
The game's done, and that's it. Again,
that's 10p, no?
Just put a pound now. Another interruption for Sean again. But the point I'm making is that until you sort out the identity of this club and what the focuses of this club is, rather than Champions League, day outs in Champions League, right? You're going to get the same old thing every single time. And
sure.
That's it. And that's just the box office talking the truth again. Back to you, Savva. Now I'm done.
Thank you. Back to me. Right, so just so I know, Sean's sitting at 20p at the moment. I don't think.
Hang on, can I say something? I've been
That's
interrupted
10p.
by Sean for months. I'm about 50 quid in credit.
Are we backdating it?
Yeah, he's been doing me for weeks, him. I don't get a word in edgeways.
Listen, Alex, I don't disagree. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. I don't think that if we talk about individual players, that it means that I'm not blaming Romero for the state of the football club. All I'm saying is, if a player doesn't play well, we're allowed to say it. And it feels very much that in I'm sure this is all fan bases, but it feels very much that because he's not Dier or Sanchez or whoever, that he gets defended when he does just as bad things week in, week out. And today, 2 of those goals were on him. Yeah, last week against Newcastle, 2 of the goals were on him there. One of them was on him against Man United. So all I'm saying is, surely we should be allowed, Alex, to turn around and go, well, hang on, if he's getting stick, i.e. Eric Dier, then Romero also should equally get stick.
100%. Right? I'm not saying that you shouldn't criticise him. That's not what I'm saying. My point is, it's quite clear now, right? And we're going to be repeating ourselves all the time. I'm trying to not do that. I don't do rinse, repeat. I'm trying to, say
you
something.
You don't do rinse, repeat.
But the point is, unfortunately, another pound in the jar, by the way, Sean. Again, you're going up, Sean. You're going up, Sean, by the way.
10 pence a pop. I've just donated £10.
Sean, I was going to say,
I got credits in the bank now. I can enjoy
before I was rudely interrupted, because main event speaking again, right? The point I'm making is that we can't go away from the fact that you're not going to learn anything from every game now. Okay, we're going to get this. Okay, and as I said before, Romero next to John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, he ain't doing those mistakes. I'll tell you that.
Why?
Because John Terry is telling him, right? He's telling him, if you don't do that same mistake again, I'm going to the manager telling you you're not being the team next time, Bob. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. That's what
that doesn't vindicate him, then, does it? It just says he'll get rid of him.
The point I'm making is that as far as I'm concerned, okay, the makeup of the squad and the defense, right? If you put Romero next to a leader, someone that's a leader, okay, that says to him, "Sorry, you might have won the World Cup, mate, but you ain't finished yet, son. You ain't finished yet." And that's it. Okay, so if you keep on doing that, bro, I'm going to the manager who trusts me because I'm the captain of the ship, bro, rather than Højbjerg, right? And telling the manager saying, "Sorry, mate, you ain't learning. Get him out the team." Yeah, and that's it. Because that's the problem. He's got Dier. I mean, I wouldn't blame him the fact that he's looking at Dier and thinking, "Who are you? Who are you?"
Alex, I'm a bit baffled. So it's Eric Dier's fault that Romero's putting in tackles like that, giving away penalties.
No, I didn't say that, Pete.
But that's what you're insinuating.
No, that's what you're insinuating in that conversation.
No, I didn't say that. You completely twisted my words there. I
pound
said,
from each of you.
Right, no, I didn't say that. Again, if you interrupt me and start listening to me, you actually listen to what I'm actually saying. My point is, you put a captain in front of him, a leader next to him, okay? That leader will tell him and make himself known and say to him, "Sorry, mate, you can't do that." Okay? He's now looking at Dier, and Dier's not giving him any instruction, bro. He's not doing it. Okay?
What was he, 12?
The fact is, you need somebody who can lead. And unfortunately, the makeup of that back three, whatever it is wrong. Okay,
Why can't he do it then?
There's a reason why you keep on letting in goals, and why we kept.
Then
on
why
playing
did the
back
managers
three
pick Eric
with
Dier
back
all the
three,
time?
back three? Well, that's their fault, bro. That's their fault. Okay,
But
if
he
he's going to
plays.
keep on, if you're going to keep on,
Mason,
Jack, let me make this point because you just interrupt me again. My point is,
I'll put 10p in the jar.
my point is, okay, if you're going to keep on playing Dier, okay, that's a problem, right? Because obviously he's not good enough. He's not good enough to lead that defense as well, okay, because he's failed every single time. Okay, so what you're trying to find out from him anymore? It's not working. Yeah. He's also a foreign defender as well. So you add into your foreign quota. So if you want to get a good defender in, which you were telling that we need in the summer, well, you've got one extra there that you're going to have to keep now, yeah, because you're going to sign a new contract for him. So my point is, get a better makeup of that defense. Okay, you don't have to have superb defenders, and that's it. And then possibly we can start sorting this all out at the moment. But at the moment, I'm sorry, you can blame Romero how much you want, but he's going to be the same player next season doing those mistakes with players that are not good enough around him.
He didn't make those mistakes. He didn't make those mistakes last year.
I didn't blame Dier. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is a good point, Sean. Just quickly before we come to that, Sean. Hang on, where's it gone? Where's the super chat gone? There it is. Thank you very much to Sean, who didn't just put in 10p in the jar. He put £10 in the jar, and 50% of this does go to the British Heart Foundation. So thank you so much, Sean, for that. And he said, this should allow me some interruption credits for the rest of the month. Probably just the rest of the show, but, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you'll be lucky.
I'm thinking, just quickly, I just want to address a few people. I love these types of fans. So we've got Spurs Bird going, all you lot blame Conte, he was right all along. I'll come to this in a minute.
Oh, don't.
Billy Horrocks, another embarrassing look for the Conte outers. Can I just say, for this whole Conte thing, if these people couldn't see that he wanted out,
yeah, he sacked himself. He sacked himself.
Is someone typing or something or doing anything? Sorry, I can just hear a really loud.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Really loud.
It's Alex doing. He's interrupting by texting something.
No,
right.
That's 10p, no?
Alex, 10p.
10p,
mate.
All right, guys. Let's look at the game. Let's look back to the game. Look, I think we've talked about Romero. Guys, the red card that wasn't given. Diogo Jota. Was it a red card? And if it was a red card, how have both the on-field referee and the off-field referee both not seen that and given that decision?
One of the worst decisions I've ever seen. He's kicked him in the head, like studs in his head, bad. And I'm sitting there going, how is he not? I watched it initially at first, and I thought, okay, maybe I've missed something. And I looked at the replay, going, what? And I went, he's going to be sent off here. That's going to get looked at, and he's kicked. And I'm seeing people say,
it doesn't happen at Liverpool, mate. Liverpool don't get.
But I'm seeing people. I saw a Liverpool fan, and I just before I came on, and I was watching a video going that Skip has gone to head Dier's foot. What? I mean, if
I've seen Liverpool fans tell me it doesn't matter whether it was a red card. Skippy should have been sent off in the first half for going over the top on, I think it was Diaz. And I think he got the ball on that one, but he did absolutely take a player out. He did go into the studs up on some. So some Liverpool fans.
I'm not one of these.
But I'm
not one of these people that blames. I'm just saying I'm not one of these that blames referees. I genuinely I'm not one. I genuinely don't. But I sit there and go, not just one person has looked at that, but two people, and one person has looked at a replay several times and gone, nah, that's not clear and obvious mistake.
Not just one. Don't forget, in the VAR room, there's 7 people.
Yeah,
there's 7 of them. There's the captain of the VAR. There's the assistant, and then there's like 4 children or whatever that go in there and are learning their work experience or whatever they're doing. But there's a team of them.
I think it was disgraceful. I genuinely. Initially, I thought, oh, maybe let me see the replay. And I saw the replay. I went, what? How is that not a red card? And then obviously, Jota goes and wins the game. But
Does anyone think it wasn't a red card before we have this discussion? Does everyone here think it was a Stonewall red?
No, I don't.
You don't think it was red? Does everyone else? By the way, does everyone else?
I'm not sure. I'm not clear on what the rule is around that. I don't know. High boot.
I think there was.
Yeah, Skippy was lowering his head. I don't know what the rule is.
Yeah, Skip put his head down bravely. Jota's trying to bring the ball down. He's like, look, he ain't looked to put him in the crust. He's trying to bring the ball down, and Skip's put his head down bravely and took one for the team. I don't think there was any intentional malice there. I just think people.
I didn't think there was intentional malice either.
No, just because he cut him. If he didn't cut him, no one would be saying anything. But it looks worse than it is. But Skip put his head down, so it's not as if Skip's head stayed up there and he's karate kicked him in the nut.
It was still 5.5 foot in the air, though, mate.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But he's trying to bring the ball down. Yeah, you don't wait for the ball to go down. You try to get it under control. From what I'm seeing, and it's just one of them things. Skip put his head down bravely, like a warrior, like fair play to him, and took one. And that happens.
If the boot was on the other foot, and it happened to a Tottenham player, and it was a red card given, we'd all be sitting there saying probably unreasonable.
No, I call it as I see it. I'd say it as I see it. I didn't think it was a red card. For me, I just think the yellow card was fine. Be careful next time. But other than that, I don't think it was a red card offence because there was no intent, and it was just Skip. If Skip's head stayed the same and he put his foot up to Skip's head, different talk, different conversation. But the fact Skip put his head down, for me, just takes it away from that being a red card because I can legislate for someone who's going to put their head come in with their head down when you've got your foot up.
No, and to a certain degree, I do understand what you're saying. I think that's probably the only reason why the on-field decision is given, because there's it's the air quote, the benefit of the doubt kind of thing. I, for one, think it was a red card because I watched it and I went, but his foot's so high, but I can understand. If we're gonna flip flop for a second and say that on the balance, you could argue why it was and why it wasn't. But for me, I think he's kicked him in the head, and that's a red card.
I'd say fair enough, but I think he's trying to bring the ball down. The ball's up there. He's going to bring it down to start playing, and then it Skips put his head there, took one for the team. For me, it's not a red, but that's why we love this game because everyone's got a different opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think. Look, at the end of the day, for me, we've seen them given, we've seen them not given. I like it when refs try to keep as many players on the pitch as possible. I'm in two minds about it. The more every different angle I watch it, I do think, oh, that's a red. Oh, well, did he dip down? But if we're going to talk about that one, we've got to talk about Skip's one because I think one of the key things somebody said just now was it wasn't intentional by Jota, which is fair enough. Skip's wasn't intentional, but that's for me. That's
a cruncher. That is
in some ways that's a season. I know we're 4 games to go the season, but that's the sort of foul that can.
Yep, I get
end the career. That can end the season. So for me, I just think the two leveled themselves out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Skip didn't even get a yellow card, did he? Skip wasn't. It wasn't even given as a
got
foul.
away with one. Skip got away.
Let's be honest.
He did win the ball. He did win the ball, but the VAR should have stepped in.
But he followed through on a man. But Skip didn't even ask for a red card. He never moaned about it. He just took it and carried on.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's part of football. Look, I put my head there. I took one. Do you know what I mean? I knew the risk, but he still took it. Other players wouldn't do it, but he did.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because look, I'm of the thought I like 11 players on the pitch at all times. So many times,
man's game.
So many times you see when teams go down to 10, it doesn't actually make things easier. It actually ruins the game from a spectacle point of view because one team just sits back and it's like, oh, this is poor. But hey, listen, we could chew the fat on that one the whole time. Let's talk about. I'm going to start with you, Alex, on this. And we'll see how many times Sean interrupts you in your sentence. Richarlison got his first goal, then celebrated like an absolute madman. What do you make of Richarlison? It's his first goal in the Premier League. It's game 34. What do you make of him?
He's okay.
I would have bet £1 million that was the answer that was coming out of your mouth.
It's just like you could have made it up that he was going to score today, isn't it? You know what I mean? In the last 4 games, isn't it? So But the fact is, he could be our main striker next season.
No.
Yeah,
I don't
that
see
is
us-
a worry.
That is true.
And this is why I've got chills in my spine. That because unfortunately, I mean, it's a very unfortunate thing. I don't want to digress, but Leeds look like they're going to get relegated this season, and maybe Everton. And I look at them, and I sit there and look at Tottenham, and I say, Everton have got no striker up front. Yeah, well, they've got Calvert-Lewin, but he's always injured. Now, if you're going to have Richarlison there, Richarlison was in the relegation team last season, nearly in the relegation team last season. Yeah, with Everton. Now, if that's our main striker, that's a very big worry, a very massive worry.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, it comes down to this makeup of the team, and that's it. I'll tell you this for a fact. It'll be interesting if Nagelsmann comes in, because this is a guy that's the hot property at the moment with Tottenham fans. Now, the buzzword Nagelsmann now is the buzzword now these days. Now, right? I wonder what he's going to think when he rocks up at Tottenham Hotspur and he sees Richarlison, then he sees Son, then he sees Danjuma. And then he sees Moira that is going to leave as well. I wonder what he's going to think. I wonder what he's thinking right now, because I don't think he's going to be impressed. I've got to be honest.
I think he'll listen. I can't imagine that he'll come in and go, "Oh my God, I've got Son. Oh, I don't want him." I mean, Son's a top.
No, I'm not having a go at Son, but but I'm just saying that if you look at it, I mean, yeah, he could improve next season. Son, yeah, he could, and he has been okay. I'm not saying he's been absolutely brilliant the last couple of years with us, definitely. But I just think I don't think he's going to be impressed with Richarlison. I've got to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to be impressed with Richarlison.
I shouldn't think many were. Perchy, Richarlison. There's two schools of thought, right? One is, we've paid 60 million for a bloke that has scored his first goal. I don't even think he touched it, if I'm really honest. The more times I watch the video, I'm thinking, did he? Did it go straight in? Anyway, you've got the school of thought of, he's not scored. And then you've got the school of thought of, well, he hasn't really been given a run of games in his favoured position, which is as a central striker, because obviously you're not going to start above Kane. Where are you at with Richarlison?
I'm actually going to be on Team Richarlison for one moment here, because I actually genuinely feel very sorry for him today, because he scores his goal against Liverpool. Obviously, being an ex-Evertonian, it's a big moment. He goes and celebrates. A bit of desire. I mean, I do feel a little bit sorry for him, because every time someone needs to tell him to stop taking his shirt off, because every time he does, something bad happens. He did it against someone's going to tell me he took his shirt off and celebrated, and then it got disallowed. This time he took it off, it counted, and then we go and concede down the other end. Yeah. If I was him, I'd be pulling my fellow compatriot Lucas Moura aside and going, "You've literally stolen that moment from me." Listen, because I don't think he's had a great season. I'll be frank and honest. I don't think he's had a great season. I do feel slightly sorry for him in the sense that, I don't think he's never going to start over Harry Kane. I was saying in the sense that we never even gave it a go to play both of them up top. That we never even found a way to go, maybe is it worth playing a system where we can play two strikers and find a way to that? We've never done that. He's either just gone, you're being shipped to the left or the right-hand side of a three. I do get the sentiment from what Alex is saying, because I would be worried, because he isn't the sort of goal scorer that goes, we're going to get 20 goals from next season. He's if he plays every game, he might get you 15 goals all season. But then where are the other goals coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Sean, look, we'll do the Kane conversation later. But if Kane was to leave, is there something to say that Richarlison could flourish as a centre forward at Spurs? Is he being played out of position? I'm just trying to find debates here, by the way. I don't rate him. I don't want him there. But could there be an argument for that he could flourish?
I like to play devil's advocate, mate. But on this particular topic, there's someone else can do it, because I'm not. How I feel about him. I think he's an absolute waster. I'm really glad. I want him to do well whilst he's at Tottenham. And so I was super happy for him today. I said it on the Irish Hotspur stream. I was like, when he was doing this, he was saying it to me. Fair play to him. He got the goal. I don't know how much of a actual touch he got on it. But I just don't see. I don't see what value he brings. I think there was the biggest one. I said it when we signed him. I said it before we signed him. I've said it ever since we signed him. I've had bets with people on how many goals he would score, and look, I'm glad he's got one today. I'm glad he did, and I'm sorry that Lucas Moura had to screw up and take his moment away from him. But if he's if Harry, I know we're going to do the conversation later. I don't think Harry Kane is going. I think Harry Kane will stay. But in a world where Harry Kane does go, if Richarlison is our replacement, God help us. God help us. He's rubbish.
Great.
I think he's such a, to quote the illustrious man beneath me, I think he is not okay. He is bang average. On the scale of bang average to okay, he is bang average. I don't like him. Don't get it. I do not understand what value he brings. And I've not been proven wrong so far. So yeah.
No, I agree. Pete, are you making this a clean sweep? Are you also not enamoured by Richarlison?
No, I think he's pony. I said in the summer, rewind to the summer, I said there's nothing about him that he's got an outstanding quality that anyone can say apart from shithousery. That's all I ever heard about it. And it's the chicken to come home to roost. He's not blessed with rapid pace. He's not a great finisher. He's not great in the air. He's not a hold up man. He's not got outstanding anything. He just runs around a lot. You can't fault his work rate, but other than that, he doesn't offer any quality. And at this level, that's what you need is quality. He'd be good in the lower league team like it was at Everton because the standard's a lot lower there. But for us, he's nowhere near. And for 16 million, I mean, we got our absolute. I never understand that deal for Daniel Levy being such a apparent shrewd businessman to pay 60 million for him. He must have been on the Sherberts or something that night because he got proper turned over there. And I said at the time when we bought him, I don't think we'll get rid of him. I think we'll end up trying to flog him off like Ndombele we have been for ages, and no one's going to want him because he's cost 60 million. He's not on 30 grand a week, is he? He's on a fair few bob. It's going to be hard to get rid of him, and he's not got the quality that we need, and definitely he's never going near replacing Kane. I'd rather stick Son up front or Dan Juma.
Super cool. Sorry, Sav. Super quick.
Go on, mate,
24Z. Love you to pieces, mate. We spent all day together on 15 different streams. I didn't say he didn't touch it. I said I don't know how much of a touch he got on it. That's not me saying he didn't touch it. When you say I lie, I'm not lying. I'm just saying I watched it. I got to saw one replay whilst we were celebrating, and I didn't see how much of a touch he got, like as in how much he knew about it. I'm not saying he didn't
got an
touch
eyebrow
it.
on it.
I'm not saying he didn't touch it, bro. Spent the whole.
He got his pigeon beak on the end of it.
Yeah, we spent the whole day together, and like, are you saying it's about? Are you saying I lied, or are you saying Savva lied? I don't know. Now you're saying Savva said he didn't touch it. Savva, did you say he didn't touch it?
I said every time I watch it, I'm looking at it going, did he not listen? I don't really care. I don't care. Listen, I just don't care that much about it. I mean, I'm not lying. I just my first reaction was, did he get a touch on that, or did it go straight in? If he did, he did. If he didn't, he didn't. Who cares? I don't care. The only thing I would say, guys, to add on to this, I feel like there's something so unlikable about Richarlison. Now, every club's got that player, right, that is brilliant if you support the team, but he must wind up everyone else's fans. If Richarlison's that guy for us, I just can't stand him. Like,
I
felt
understand
like,
where you're coming from there.
I
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I absolutely understand what you're talking
10p.
about there. Absolutely understand where you're coming from.
10p, please. Yeah,
Yes,
I just felt like, Alex, even, when that cross came in and Kante, right? And Kante, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you've thrown yourself at the floor, like, for what? Like, okay, there might have been some grappling or whatever, but come on, every single time he's in the box, he goes over. I don't know, he just doesn't, I don't know, I don't like him. There's something very unlikable. Am I the only one that feels that?
No, I can see what you're saying. I don't feel the way that you feel, but I do hear what you're saying. Because to be honest with you, I'm not impressed when he goes on the floor either. I don't like it as well. To be honest with you,
There's 60 million reasons not to like him.
Well, do you know what it is? I actually
50 million and add-ons reasons not to like him. Actually.
Yeah, I do get the like point of view about him not being likable. Do you know what it is? I wouldn't even be. I'm going to say it from this point. I I feel now he's become such a meme of a player now because we all know he's a bit of a shithouse is the sort of term is that he gets used, but it only works if he's scoring goals. Because now he's a bit of a meme because everyone just goes, he kind of doesn't do anything. He doesn't score goals, and people kind of, if for example, hear me out, if he's scoring goals week in week out, and he's doing all this, you go, do you know what? He's scoring goals, like he's doing his job. But now it's like, it's all a bit of, okay, well, it's all well and good doing that, but you're not really offering anything in return, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Just quickly, before we move on, everybody please subscribe to everybody on the panel. Subscribe to Spurs Talk Show for Sean. Sean, what are you chasing down? What figures you on?
Just about to hit 7K, actually. Yeah. So.
Oh, big boy numbers. Alex, where can people find you?
Mr. Box Office TV.
Have you changed it to Mr. Box Office TV?
He's Mr. Box Office TV.
No, it's double now. It's like Mr. Box Office Alex THFC TV.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Mr. Box Office TV for short, but with Alex THFC, yes. So that's how it is now.
Go there, subscribe, and Perchy chasing down.
He's talking about himself in the third and the fourth person, I think. On that.
Sean, that's 10p.
Perchy, you're chasing down 1,000, right?
We're chasing down 1,000 up to 532 at the Perchy TV. Yeah.
Please go over there. And if anybody would like to subscribe, there's 350 of you in here. I am 54 away from the big 5K. So if 54 people haven't subscribed, please go in and subscribe. Guys, let's talk some positive things. Because someone's just said that Savva's a half glass empty person. So is that half empty? Is it half full?
You don't know.
I'm
good.
not sure. I'm not
What
sure.
is it?
Ribena. It's just Ribena, mate. It's not anything good. Guys, we did create some good chances. We're not very good with the ball, but when we transition quickly and when Kane and Son are in full flow, we do look dangerous. And that's how we scored both of our goals. That's how Son got his goal. And that's how Kane got his goal. Transition quickly, Skippy with a lovely through ball. Virgil van Dijk fell on his backside, lovely clip ball, and Kane doesn't miss those. Equally, Son, superb finish. Is there the reason I'm saying this, guys, is there any argument to be had that we need to ditch the three up top and just leave those two through the middle? Because I always feel that when they're on the pitch together alone, I feel that they're so much better up front, like they were under Jose, than with actually having Kulusevski with them. So what do you all make of that? Because again, another poor Kulusevski appearance. So let me start with you, Pete. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think there's an argument for that. I want him playing on the shoulder, whether it's in the 3 or the 2 up top. He's got to be on the shoulder. All that coming from deep, it doesn't suit him. It doesn't make the best of what he's got. He's got to play on the shoulder. And as soon as he does it, then he's a problem. He's more comfortable doing it. And then he puts the team on the back foot. Because you see how Pep tried Liverpool. How many times did he get him behind them? Down the sides or over the top. It's just on every time if he's there. Especially when we have a lack of creativity. You need something you can hit to get you up the pitch quickly and to get him behind the back four. Because we can't, their back four, because we can't do it any other way because you haven't got the players. So it makes, I think when he does that off the shoulder and Kane drops deep, that's when Son's at his best. Kane looks good there too. When he does it, it's a match made in heaven. I think we overcooked it a bit and it got a bit predictable where teams started just leaving an extra man in midfield ready for Kane when he drops in. But now we've sort of changed it and not going 3-4-3. I think it would be worth going back that far. But then I don't think Kulu deserves to be in the team, I must admit. Not a chance. He's been dreadful. So that means you put another man in midfield. I'm all for it.
Yeah, Sean, we did that today. We went to the 3. He brought in Sa halfway through the game when we went to the 2 up top, and I just felt that
hated it. I hated it.
Did you? You hated it?
I hated it. Although the whole way through the second half, I was just like, for me, I agree with you about Decky. I thought that, look, when you reflect on the game after the fact, it's exactly the same principle as the reason why I hate people that say the manager wasn't backed. They wait until after the fact to then reflect on what the decisions were made and then figure out whether they can play Monday morning quarterback on the decisions. At the time, during the game, if the game had finished 3-3, then fair enough. My call outs during the game would have been wrong or whatever, or Mason could have said, look, my decisions worked. We ended up with a draw. But after 20 minutes, Eric Dier needed to get ripped off that team. Not necessarily because we had someone necessarily so much better on the bench in Clement Longley, but there was an option to bring on Clement Longley. And as a matter of principle, to shame the guy, he was absolutely embarrassing. Eric Dier was embarrassing, and he can do whatever he wants. Every single week, he can be responsible for giving away, 20 goals this season, 15 goals this season, he's responsible for. And then the next week, he'll step straight back into the team and point and shout and do all this bollocks because there isn't anyone else. There is absolutely zero consequences for the guy. If you were going to bring off Davinson Sanchez after what happened a couple of weeks ago, then you should have had the stones to bring off Eric Dier after 20 minutes. You could have made exactly the same judgment call on Decky. Decky in the first half was a disgrace. He was a disgrace. He was walked past defensively. The only reason he was on the pitch in the first place, in my opinion, he was in the starting 11 before they knew that it was going to be Diaz that was starting. I think the Tottenham coaches thought that Darwin Núñez was going to start, and that with that aerial ability that they would have pinged the ball into the left hand to our right hand side, so down their left hand side, and that Pedro Porro wouldn't have had enough ability to handle that pressure with Cody Gakpo loitering around. And so they, rather than having Danjuma on the left and bringing Son on, who can't handle any of the aerial threat, they decided to go with Decky. It was unnecessary once the team list was announced, and Decky was an absolute shambles during the first half. He was a shambles throughout the game, if I'm honest. The only thing that I really remember him doing was doing that clever outside of the boot, left-footed through pass towards Sonny that ended up hitting the post in the second half. Decky was a disgrace. Ryan Mason, for me, should have made 2 changes in the first half, either before or at least at halftime. Dier, out of principle, to show him that there are consequences for your poor performances. And Decky is a tactical thing because he was walked past 3 or 4 times in the first half. And his performance was a contributory factor into why we were 3-0 down and all over the place. So, yeah, didn't appreciate Decky's performance today. Didn't appreciate the decision-making from Ryan Mason. And whilst he pivoted to 3-5-2, at that point, as soon as he did that, we had the momentum from the 45th minute or from the 25th minute until the 55th minute. We had the momentum. As soon as he went to a 3-5-2 and brought on, I forget who it was, Pape Sarr. As soon as he brought Pape Sarr on, the game became like null and void for 20 minutes. It became like a training exercise. There was passing around and half of the second half was absorbed. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, had the game finished 3-3, I would have been wrong in my assumption. But at the time, you had to judge it at the time as I saw it.
Yeah.
And for me, I thought Ryan Mason's decisions during the game, at the moment, I thought were awful. I thought they were awful.
I'm guessing, look, let me come to you, Alex. I'm guessing, look, this is part of what you're saying there, Sean. That comes down to he's not got experience, right? This isn't an experienced manager. This isn't somebody.
He's putting his name in the hat, Savva. He said he wants to be. He said he thinks he's ready. And to me, if you think you're ready, then we should be judging your decisions like we should be judging Conte's or Stellini's or anybody else's, right? And so I'm not going to give him the pass. Oh, he's wet behind the ears. Sorry, mate. If you want to put your name in the hat, which I think is a joke, but if you want to put your name in the hat, then I'm going to judge you as I would as someone who's got 15 titles to his name. And to me, his decision making in the first half was, and tactically throughout the game, was pretty rubbish.
Yeah, Alex, what did you make of that? I mean, I can see what Sean's saying. He brought on Sarr shortly after, I believe, Liverpool brought on Henderson, and it went a bit flat. But I still, only for me, I'd love to get your opinion on the same. I still think that Son and Kane look better when they play in a 2 rather than a 3. I think they look. I don't know. They just Sonny playing on the shoulder, like Pete said. That's Son at his best, playing on the shoulder, ruthless through on goal.
I haven't seen the whole game, so I can't really comment on the whole game. I've only seen the highlights, but I don't like the whole thing with just Harry Kane and Son, and they're the ones that are influencing the game too much. I think for me, we then become very over reliant on them. I don't like that. For me,
But aren't we over reliant on them anyway?
yeah,
all we've got.
that's my point. That's my point. I think it's I think I think that worries me a lot for me. I think with Kulu, I think at the moment, this is why I wasn't going over the top about him last season. When everybody was going over the top about him last season, it looks like a bit of a lull for me. Whether he will be here next season, I do not know. Because
would you buy him, Alex?
Pardon?
Would you buy him? Would you buy it? Because it's an
It depends
option,
on whether it fits. It fits the whole. Like I said, it's again the makeup of the team again. You get what I'm saying? Because if Kulusevski is not going to work with what the manager wants to do next season, okay, you're going to have to get rid of him. Okay, same with Danjuma and the others as well. But if there's a fits and the makeup of the team works well and the chemistry will work well with with Kulusevski in the team, great. Keep him. But I do question if you're going to play, if we want this free-flowing attacking football, pressing football, would he fit in that team? I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. I don't know. I think the whole thing with Mason's decisions, I'm not taking too much. Again, I go back on everything else. I know people want to say that we're judging him like we're judging Conte, and I hear what Sean's saying, but you can't judge it because the season's over. We're literally just warping away, right? We're just trudging along to just get to end the season, right? The only focus of Tottenham at the moment is getting the manager in. That should be the focus at the moment because you cannot take anything from these games, yeah? Because we've just got thrashed by Newcastle 6-1, yeah? And we've got a lucky draw against Manchester United, yeah? Season's done, yeah?
That wasn't a lucky draw against Man United.
Well, whatever, Sean. The fact is the season's over, yeah? So we can't judge him at the moment because at the end of the day, he's only there because they've messed up. They've completely messed up the board on this.
But does that mean? But surely that doesn't mean, right, Percy? That look, if I take Sean's point on board, and the manager's saying, "I'm ready. I'm ready. I want this job." Then we judge him on that, right? We judge him on saying that he's ready. We're going to talk about whether he should get the job later, but. In terms of going back to the original question, with the would you like to see the two up top or a third man? Let me put a spin on this, Perchy. Why are we not seeing Danjuma given a start?
My thoughts.
Why is that man not getting a single start? What's he done wrong?
It doesn't make sense, and it just comes down to what was the point of bringing Danjuma into the game, into the team? Sorry, in January, we all knew the reasons. There was all the debate, Danjuma's terrible, all this, but he offers something. He offers legs. How bad does Kulusevski have to play now for him to play? And it comes down to that. Positions shouldn't be just given; they should be earned. Has Danjuma been that bad that he gets cameo appearances left, right, and centre? It doesn't make sense. People can say he's terrible. I don't care about that. I think Kulusevski at the moment's terrible. I think when was the last time he scored? Does anyone remember the last time Kulusevski scored?
I think we said the other day, didn't he score against...
When was the last time he scored? Because I can't remember.
He scored on the first game of the season at home to Southampton. Yep. And then
he scored 2 games this season. Scored two goals this season.
Amazing. What a player.
That's really
Can I just
bad,
say,
isn't it?
But the thing is hear me out. We put Richarlison into that bracket, by the way. Kulusevski has to go into that bucket as well. But when we criticise with the likes of Richarlison, and yes, listen, I think he's right to be criticised. I'm not saying that, but Kulusevski is another player in this fan base that seems to get an absolute pass all the time. He gets a pass. He shouldn't do. Because we sing his name and number 21 because he came from all that crap. No, for me, players like that don't get a pass. I mean, Danjuma's not even. Oh, go you go.
Sorry, just really, really quickly. Anne, you keep putting posts in. It's really aggressive. Like every one of your comments is like an attack. Just relax, man. It's fine. First and foremost, we don't know that Danjuma only scores against the bottom teams because he's not getting a chance, right? So we can't say, oh, he hasn't scored when he's not being given the game. Second of all, Kulusevski isn't scoring at all. So, surely... Listen, I'm not saying in any world that I think Danjuma is a better footballer than Kulusevski, but there's got to be accountability for poor performances, right, Perchy? There's got to be.
Agreed.
I've not played well. I accept that I'm going to be on the bench for a bit.
It was Man City, by the way. It was Southampton's first game of the season, and then in the 4-2 away, he scored the goal against Man City.
I'll draw some stats up, by the way. I've just quickly done it. Danjuma has scored 1 Premier League goal, and he hasn't started a game. Kulusevski's played 26 and scored 2. So, for me, it's accountability. So, Danjuma gets away with it, but then everyone says Danjuma's terrible. But it's surely you've got. There's got to be a system.
I said today on We Are Tottenham TV, and I said it on the previous shows as well that I was on. I was like, if you are only going to get 3 or 4, max 5 chances against Liverpool, and if history serves us correctly, then most of the games that we've lost, we could have drawn. Most of the games we've drawn recently, we could have won had it not been for failing to take opportunities. And in the first half, we had opportunities again. We had 3 or 4. We could have gone in at half time, like 3-2 down, or even 3-3 at half time.
We could have been drawing at half time.
Decky had one of the easiest opportunities of all of them, right?
How does he not score?
I don't know. But you know what? What I did, I made the point that when you look at the goals per minutes played, the only assumption, we don't know what sort of real player for Tottenham Danjuma is, but the only assumption you can make is from the amount of chances he's had in the minutes that he's had and the goals that he's scored. He is someone that takes his opportunities, and that is the justification for him playing at Anfield, because everybody else doesn't take the opportunities. But this season, when he has played the few minutes he's got, he's taken his chances. He should have started that game.
Guess how many minutes? So just to sort of go back onto it, I've got the stats. I love it. I know Alex hates stats, but I've got stats for today. Danjuma's played 6 appearances. How many minutes has he played?
In total?
Guess. In total?
125, 130?
Less.
68.
More than 68.
100.
He's played 87 minutes and scored 1 goal. Now, let's compare that now.
He scored 2.
No, he scored in the FA Cup.
No, but he scored 1 in the FA Cup.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking just league.
Yeah, no, this is just Premier League. Sorry, just Premier League.
See, I would have had my minutes bang on if you
how many minutes Kulusevski's played, and he scored 2 goals.
Go on.
1,895.
Yeah, I was going to say 2,000.
Yeah, but I think we got. But I've got to say this. Sorry to interrupt you, Jack. My point. I think the problem is with that is that I think we're going. I think people play. I think the manager playing him because of last season. And I think they just want to try and get into recovery.
But Alex, if that's the case, then that's a bigger problem. Then for me, then their managers shouldn't. Managers shouldn't be in the job if they're picking people on past performances. It should be here and now.
Jack, we're going back onto the manager. We're going back onto the manager again. That's the point.
Yeah,
because
it's not just Ryan Mason though. It was Conte. It was Stellini. It wasn't just one person. All the managers are doing the same thing.
Yeah, but I think Conte didn't want to play the players that he didn't ask to sign. Right?
Yeah, but
he was making principal points. I don't think Ryan Mason has got the courage to make brave decisions.
Yeah, but regardless of that, because we keep on going back to the whole thing about Conte and Stellini. The point is, okay, it stems from the players. The players are now taking charge of what's going on at the moment. You know, there's no accountability for their performances anymore for me. So I think that's a club problem for me.
Yeah, because the manager should be the one that takes the accountability. I
don't think it's just the managers though, because I think this was.
Alex, my point being is, if Ryan Mason, and this is the point I wanted to sort of go full circle on, because you were talking about the Ryan Mason thing, was if Ryan Mason's put his name in the hat, then he needs to be the man. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
but Jack, this needs to be wiped out straight away. Then that's a
I'll be
club decision for them to say, sorry, you're not ready. That's it. You just need
But
to.
Conte was doing the same thing, though. No.
We just need to cut it straight away and say, I'm sorry, mate. No, that's it. You're here to the end of the season, or this is the point. This is the reason why I said we need the manager in, because I knew this was going to start livening up this whole thing about Mason being in charge, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, that's why I said just make sure you get a manager in, like Chelsea have just done right now. Yeah,
but they haven't.
Because then
they haven't,
this whole stupid rumours.
But
now.
they haven't.
What have Chelsea done? What have Chelsea done that we haven't?
Well, they've got the manager in, haven't they?
Who?
No, they haven't.
Pochettino.
Poch isn't their manager yet.
Poch isn't their
he's
manager
gonna
and
be
won't be
their
their manager
manager
until the
the way
start of
they're
next
going
season.
Yeah, but listen, Poch isn't their manager yet. Yes, he's probably going to sign the deal this week, but you do know he's not going to step foot in that building until June.
Well, he's going to be still looking at what's going on at the moment, though, isn't he? You know, he's not going to just sit on the side. He's going to be still, regardless whether he's not starting to the end of the season or not. He still knows that he's going to start putting the wheels in motion already, because that's not a 5-minute job in the summer, bruv. That is not a 5-minute job. Yeah,
but I don't understand what that's got to do with.
But the point I'm making is, though, because again, you're not listening to the point. The point I'm making is that when this is the whole point I said about getting the manager in to the end for the start of the end of the season, is to make sure that he can start putting wheels in motion to stop these rumours of Mason going in charge, because at the end of the day, he shouldn't be anywhere near the job, and that's it. That's why I can't be bothered to judge him.
But Alex, this is what it comes down to. What we talked about this all week. For me, I feel like it's a very easy thing to say. Just have the next manager lined up. But as I said to you the other day, right? My point is this: if I'm a manager, right? If I'm, I don't know. Just for example, if I'm Nagelsmann, right, and I'm in talks with Tottenham Hotspur, right? What am I asking? I am asking, right, who's the director of football next year that I'm going to be working with? And what's the answer right now? We haven't hired them at the moment because we just sacked Paratici. Okay, brilliant. So I don't know who my boss is going to be. I don't know what their ethos is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get along with them, right? B, how much money are you going to give me in the summer? I don't know yet. It depends whether we've qualified for the Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, or no European football at all. Okay, well, we don't know that yet, right? C, no manager worth their salt is going to want to come into a club with 4, 5, 6 games left of the season when you're shipping 6, 4s, 3s. No one is going to take that on.
Savva,
so who? Hang on. No, hang on. That's 20p, right?
I'll give you 20p then. That's cool.
That's
because
good,
I've got a good point to go back on you on that.
That's 30p. That's 30p.
Okay, cool.
Right, yeah.
Cool.
This is my point. Who worth their salt is going to agree to come to us right now when there's so many question marks about the club?
I don't know, but if you want Nagelsmann, sell it to him, because what you just explained to me right now. But what you just said to me right now, because the fact is the club needs to sort themselves out right now. What you just said to me is a relegation candidate team next season, bruv, the way that you just said it to me. Because if you get that manager in, it's the 35th day of not having a manager. Yeah, if we're on the road to 72 days already now.
No, hang on.
No, but the point I'm making is no, because you think I'm trying to rhyme here. I'm not trying to rhyme. I'm trying to make a point here. My point is, you just explain to me why I've got concerns about the summer and next season. Okay, because with all those rumblings of not having a manager in already, okay, and not even sorting it out. Because if I'm an owner of this club and sitting there saying, well, I'm answering you've answered all those questions, yeah, I don't know the answer to it. I'm sitting there thinking, I need to sort my ship out in gear right now. Okay,
sure,
and start making it sort things out right now.
Yes,
because
but
I
Alex,
need to make things charge, and that's it. That's what I need to be doing. Because what you just said to me just now is a relegation candidate next season.
No, but hang on. But have you
noticed? Get to know. I'm done. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
Well, listen, you're not done. You've not actually made a point for all of that rambling. If I'm completely honest, right? see, the way this works is if I ask you a question and you ramble, but don't give me an answer, we just go around in circles.
You
didn't answer me.
No,
you didn't. Let me ask you in a different way. Right? Let me ask you in a different way. You have turned around and said, sell it. Yeah? Of course, sell it to the next manager. So let's just say Nagelsmann. We'll use him for the purposes of this conversation. Right? Go on. Right now, what are we selling to Nagelsmann?
Well, I'm just saying to you at the moment, control the team then. That's what I'm saying to you.
No, but that's not an answer.
Yeah,
that's not an answer.
It's an answer, Savva. But Savva, what do you want me to say to you? What do you want me to say to you right now? But Savva, listen to me. Right? You're talking to me. I'm not the manager. Okay, I'm not Daniel Levy. My point is at the moment, okay, we're in a mess. We're in an absolute mess. So you've just told me reasons why I should be concerned about next season. So if you're telling me concerns about this, what is Daniel Levy doing right now? What is he doing right now?
That hasn't answered. But that doesn't answer the question.
You asked me to answer a question. I don't know about the answer. All I'm telling you is all I'm telling you. No, but Savva, listen to me. This is why I'm trying to make the point. My point is, okay, you've just asked me. You gave me reasons why I should be concerned. Okay, so if Daniel Levy has got those doesn't see that, okay, he should be humming and tong to get a manager in right now and sort out the director of football, sort out everything else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And get these conversations in gear right now.
Yes, but
that's
Alex,
what I'm saying, because you cannot do this in the summer. Okay,
Alex.
I'm sorry. I don't even know why you're not even listening to me here, because I think I'm actually making a good point here. Because we'll be still in the summer not having a manager, and that's it.
Right.
No, but Alex. So I think I've got the point what you're trying to make. I do get actually what you're trying to say, but I don't agree with it. Because no, but the thing is I get your point about we're in such a mess. You want someone to come in and put a bit of organisation, but I think the point that Savva's trying to make here is. Who's going to take us? No one. And the thing is anyone that does take us now, it's a panic. So you end up getting someone that will go, do you know what? I might as well because it's
I don't understand.
You're not going to go and get You're not going to go get someone like a Nagelsmann now because he'll go, no. I'm all right now. I'll wait until the summer, and if there's something better that comes available, maybe. But right now. There's no way I'm taking that. So if
I just want my question to be answered. If I'm honest, I want my question to be answered. It is all well and good turning around and saying, sell it, right? But at the moment,
sell what?
But we've got to sell. Okay, so we're talking about, Alex is saying that Daniel Levy should get Nagelsmann in a room. Well, you just using his name here, right? Should get Nagelsmann and completely sell it. And then we go, all right, there you go. He's our manager by tomorrow, right?
We've got nothing to sell at the moment.
But my point is this, Sean, is at the moment, any new manager, they're going to want to understand things. I.e., what's the transfer budget? Right?
Yeah. Well, you can make those concessions in a contract. Like anyone that says the director of football or the chairman can't guarantee certain spend because it's not something you would do. It's all based on what the club is going to earn. Therefore, you don't know what you're going to have to spend. Therefore, you can't make those concessions. It's bollocks. There's so many industries. There are so many industries. I used to belong to one where you are guaranteed, you are guaranteed money, you are guaranteed things, and then you get a slice of whatever pie you make above a certain amount of money. So, like other businesses and other organizations will make concessions and say, if you want to come and join us, I will guarantee you this, and then anything above that you'll get on bar or whatever. There's companies are forced to make guarantees around things, presuming certain outcomes, right? So there's absolutely no reason why Daniel Levy or Julian Nagelsmann and his agent can't sit down and say, I will join Tottenham Hotspur as long as you guarantee me this. Just like the same with Harry Kane could be guaranteed X amount of money, X amount of bonuses, X amount of this and the other. Of course, there is nothing to stop Daniel Levy saying, all right, you need 200 million quid for this summer and you need 150 next summer. All right, we'll do it. And you can even have you can have the veto. If Daniel Levy is that desperate to get Nagelsmann and he sees that much value in Nagelsmann and he gives him a 5-year contract and that it's dependent on Nagelsmann saying, well, I need to know how much money I'm going to have to spend. There's no reason why that can't happen. And anyone that
of course there is.
Can I just say something?
Because we don't know if we're in. hang on, we don't know if we're in Champions League. We don't know if we're in.
That's the excuse that is
but-
always made. Like, there's no guarantee around income streams. That doesn't mean that clubs do not make guarantees around outlays. Daniel, we've got 250 million. Once you're interrupting me for the 15th time in the last 30 seconds, there,
That's
Alex,
£1.50.
That's £1.50, bro. I'm keeping tabs. There is no reason why clubs know, businesses have to know what their outlays will be. They just factor it into the cost. They factor it into the spend. Your transfer budget does not need to be entirely dependent on whether you qualify in the top 4 or top 5 or top 6 or top 7. Obviously, you know what you're going to get in terms of revenue. You know you're going to get an extra 60 million being in the Champions League. But that's not the only source of revenue that the club makes. So
but
mine wasn't in that regard.
It wasn't purely dependent on just the transfer budget. I said, if you look at all of the other things, what isn't a key thing? If I'm joining a club, the key thing, forget football. If I'm joining your company, I want to know who my manager is.
Yeah? I absolutely.
I want to know who my manager is, right? So, for example, if I'm Nagelsmann and they turn around and go, right, we're going to bring you in and you're going to work with Ralph Rangnick, who you've worked with before. You both know each other. You like each other. Bang. There's a selling point, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Nagelsmann, I join, and then the next thing you know, we're hiring a
B-Tech Paratici. Yeah, I get it.
Right, a Paratici, Steve Hitchin. Nagelsmann's going to be like, what is this? We've got
100%.
Completely different.
The very first chicken and the egg. The very first chicken and the egg has to be the director of football. It has to be.
Agreed.
We've got completely different footballing views. i.e., Pep Guardiola, for example, isn't going to work with Paratici. They got completely different views on the way the game should be played. Yeah. So that's my point. But the overarching point is this. Levy is going to be having those conversations with managers now and directors of football right now, Alex. They're just not being splashed all over the media.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think I'm making a good point. I'm sorry, but when
Scott Munn is currently in Germany.
Sorry, when people are being rude in the comments saying, I need to think what I'm thinking. Think before I speak. I think that's very rude. Firstly, because I'm making an absolutely good point. By the way, it's just concerns because I'm just getting ramblings of when we had Nuno in charge. We had 72 days of manager, and it just sits like a club that don't know their priorities. And that's the point I'm making at the moment, is that what Sean's saying is completely right. You can give some guarantees to that guy, okay, and just take ownership and say, this is what we'll give you, this is what we're going to be doing. Have a discussion on what sort of director you want in the club as well, who you can work with the guy as well. If he is your man. If he is your
Alex,
man.
Scott Munn is allegedly, according to Ben and Sim, I wasn't sure if I should have said it earlier, but I've said it now on 4 different channels today, so I'm going to continue to say it. Ben and Sim told me that they've got an ITK, that one of their sources or whatever, and they came out and said yesterday or the day before that their guy has said that Scott Munn is currently in Germany for the 2nd week running, right? He was over there before, whether he's talking to Arne Slot, whether he's talking to Nagelsmann, whatever, but allegedly Scott Munn... Maybe it's holiday. No, but what I'm saying is that in the absence of a director of football, Scott Munn is the chief footballing officer. So,
can I throw something into the ring?
Level of
can I throw something into the ring? Just a little crazy thought as well, right? We're all sitting here saying, why, like Phil P has said, why are we waiting on a new director of football? We're saying, why are we waiting on a manager? Have we ever given the distinct possibility that maybe the people we want to hire are in jobs until the end of the season?
Possibly.
Right? Now, if they are in jobs, I don't know anything. If we go to another club, for example, if we go to Seville and say, we want Monchi, their director of football, right? Seville might go, well, yeah, you can talk to him, but not whilst we're still fighting for whatever they're fighting for. I'm just using that as an example, right? This is why I'm saying it. With 5 games of the season to go, it was never going to happen that a new manager, new director of football was appointed right now. I don't actually think it matters at this stage. That's just my opinion.
Savva, it's not that I don't agree with you, okay? I'm not disagreeing with you what you're saying. It's not that I wasn't being rude, not answering your question, by the way, because it's just that it's a difficult question to answer, because all I can say is at the moment is that it's Tottenham Hotspur. this is Tottenham Hotspur right now. You know what I mean? And it's just an absolute mess. And I'm just trying to figure out, rather than me explain the negatives of what's going on, I'm not trying to have a go at you saying that, by the way, because you made some very good points. But I'm trying to think of how do we solve these problems right now?
Sure.
Because at the moment, I'm looking at a club that is going to be struggling next season, because you can bet on your money that the whole thing was going to be about Harry Kane, whether he's going to stay or go. Yeah. And we're still going to have no one coming into the club. We might even still be trying to find the manager. And for me, that's a concern. That is a concern, because I'm hearing rumblings. I'm just getting feelings of rumblings. Like I said, that's why I say the 35th day of Tottenham not having a manager is significant. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Alex.
This is what I'm saying. So I'm not having a go at you, what you're saying. You're speaking facts. I've never disagreed with you there at all. But I'm turning it around. Mr. Box Office is trying to turn things around, trying to look at things optimistically and trying to think, well, how do we solve this now? Because all I'm seeing now is a relegation club next season. And that's it.
Alex,
that's my concern. Your points are leading towards a relegation team for me. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, look, we don't disagree. I think what we've got to remember as well is if you look at Chelsea, for example, like when we're using their example, let's be fair. What's happened at Chelsea? Everyone's seen it. Everyone knows it, right? And Pochettino, if he does sign there, will know. You know, he knows everything that's going on. He knows he's going to be backed. That, like, let's be fair. If you're going to Chelsea, you're not going to be worried about, hang on, am I going to be allowed to spend on players? You know you're going to. But my point is, with 4 or 5 games to go, I just can't see that a new manager's going to come in. I just can't see it at all. But I want to steer this conversation away. I'm going to start with you, Pete, on this. And everybody, please keep subscribing to everyone on the show. I'm now 48 away from 5K. So there's 400 people in this chat. If just 48 of you haven't subscribed, please do. And please keep it nice in the chat, people. It's just football. Pete, I'm going to start with you. Is there any way, shape or form, is there any reality in which Ryan Mason should be given the Tottenham Hotspur manager's job on a full-time basis?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Well, you saw today why. We cannot be going down this route again. The next manager appointment has to be right. It has to be at least a good couple of years. It cannot be a Ryan Mason who's never managed a club in his life. Let's be honest. If he's ready, then go and earn your stripes lower down the pyramid, like other managers have done. I don't think you're ready just because you're there now. Yeah, it's not going to happen. You've seen today mistakes made. Are the players really going to respect Ryan Mason in the long run? It might be all right now because he's a pal. Do I want to see Eric Dier continuing? Because he'll definitely get another contract if Ryan Mason gets a job. Yeah, probably get a lifetime contract. No thanks. I don't want any more of that. It's time to get a proper manager in, a progressive manager, one who plays good football, who's a bit innovative. That ain't Ryan Mason. What have we seen? Since I know he's only done two games, but what have we seen in 2 games that lets you think, oh, he's doing something different? I like a bit of that. Nothing at all. There's no innovation from him. Nothing at all. So not for me. And we've gone down twice in those games and had to come back. So I wouldn't say there's a motivational piece there either to cling on to. Anyone who wants that, I think you're just nuts. It's emotion talking because he's one of our own and all that crap. Get real. Yeah? Get real.
No. Listen, I agree with you, Sean. Spurs fans did what Spurs fans do best on Wednesday night, Thursday night, whichever day we played. Thursday, right? We came back, we got the draw, and straight away all of the tweets are going out, all of the posts are going out about give it to Mason. Yeah, we could do worse. Mason should be the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Is that a viable option for a club the size of Tottenham Hotspur?
What, on a full-term basis? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why are some fans calling for it?
They're fucking idiots, that's why.
Fucking fans are fans, aren't they? Like, you have to remember, right? Like, the only common denominator, 99% of the people that we engage with and that people engage with generally on Twitter about Tottenham Hotspur, you don't know these people are. And there's no common denominator about whether or not you like them in real life, apart from the fact that they just happen to support the same club. There's a lot of fucking idiots in the Tottenham community. There's a lot of fucking idiots in life generally. Like people that think that Ryan Mason is the right guy for Tottenham. I just say, like, you've got to earn your stripes. I'm not even going to ridicule the concept. What I would just say is, in logic, you've got to earn your stripes. Frank Lampard did okay elsewhere before he got his job at Chelsea. Steven Gerrard did very well in Scotland before he went to Villa. Like, there's bigger names and better and people that you'd probably presume know football better than Ryan Mason did. That for him to say, "I think I'm ready for the Tottenham job," it's ludicrous. It's absolutely. It's almost insulting to think that he doesn't have to go and earn it somewhere else earlier. Vincent Kompany, one of the greatest players in the modern generation, had to go and do it. I did a review about Ralf Rangnick. You know, Ralf Rangnick spent the first 23 years of his managerial career in Germany hanging around the Dritters Bundesliga and the Zweite Bundesliga, the second and third tier of German football. Everyone earns their stripes that way. Sorry, Ryan Mason, as much as you might be a Tottenham lad, but just because you think you're ready does not give you any justification to think you can step into the 5th, 6th, 7th best team, biggest team, whatever it is in England. Sorry, mate. Use the next 5 games, enjoy the moment, see how you get on. But in the summer, when we get someone else in that's been there, done it, earned their own stripes, you should probably leave Tottenham and go and take over a Derby or a Huddersfield or a Southend or whatever. Right? Go and earn your stripes, and we'll see you in 5, 6, 7 years if you're good enough. Just because he thinks he's ready and because he's been around the club for a few years doesn't mean that he deserves his shot. It's ridiculous. It's anyone that's saying that is just missing the point.
Let's be honest. What has he done differently to Stellini? Nothing. He's not made any big changes or gone right. I'm stamped any authority on that team whatsoever. At least I couldn't stand Tim Sherwood. Yeah, I thought he was a right prick. But at least I'll give him credit. He come in and said, right, you lot ain't doing it. I'm going to put the kids in. At least he did that. And then Harry Kane came out of it and a few others. Ryan Mason came out of it. Yeah. And they got games and they got to show a bit of potential. At least he did that. He took away the high salary, so-called the big players in the team. Went, no, you lot of crap. He's doing it, and he's gonna have a go. At least do that. He's not done nothing, and we'll see Eric Dier for the rest of the season, every game, guaranteed. Same with the others.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Alex, where are you with this? Because look, I get it, right? We let Stellini go off the back of the 6-1, and. Ryan Mason's first game, I suppose it was more the emotion. It was more Roy of the Rover stuff, wasn't it? 2-0 down. Everyone thinks we're going to get smashed. We come back 2-2 and it's, oh my God, give Mason the job. But this will just be another appointment that is just completely fueled by emotion rather than actually what is needed to drive change at this football club, right?
No, I don't want Mason in charge. And like I say, I'm not paying attention to anything that Mason's saying. I didn't take anything from this. I'm not going to take anything from the 4 games. I'm more paying attention to my game, and man, them know about my game.
What's your game?
My game.
Your
game?
Than what Tottenham games are at the moment. Yeah.
What's your game? Talk to me about your
ladies. Game. That's what I need to say. But anyway, moving on.
What do you say?
No, let's not move
ladies.
on.
Ladies.
Moving on.
Wait,
moving on.
What's
moving
going
on. Moving on. Back on the football.
You got a bird.
Mrs. Palmer and her 5 friends.
Back on the football.
And her cousin, Olive
we
Oil.
appreciate everybody, by the way. We appreciate everybody, by the way. Nothing against women, by the way, by saying that, by the way. For me, I'm just not bothered, Savva. As far as I'm concerned, I knew it was going to start. Mason in charge, and people want Mason in charge.
Obvious.
As soon as that draw happened against Manchester United, I knew what was going to happen. I knew it. So, like I said, if Tottenham Hotspur want to get themselves sorted, sort their house in gear, right, to stop all these rumours, okay, have a plan of who you want, pinpoint that person, get him in, take that person to the end of the season, get the director of football as well, decide who you want as well, and then we can start from there, and that's it. Okay, and then you stop this rubbish. You completely wipe it out straight away.
What's her
Okay,
name?
I know
Alex?
it's not going to happen, but if that happened, you wouldn't have this nonsense with Mason, and that's it.
Alex, what's
That's
her
all I need
name?
to
What's
say.
her name? Just give us a little something more. What's her name?
You know, and that's it. And that's all I need to say. And sorry about that, Savva. I didn't want to get back to that, but you know what Alex's business
inflatable.
is. But, you know, I'll go back to the football and back to you, Savva.
Well, thanks for coming back to me, Perchy. Look, let me ask this from a different point of view. If I'm a player thinking about joining Tottenham Hotspur, what part of me thinks, yeah, I want to go and play for Ryan Mason? He's going to do wonders for my career, or they're building something there with that guy.
No, I think, listen, however much Ryan Mason is a Spurs lad and all that lot, he can't be getting the job. Let's be honest. Because the thing is, and I think someone mentioned it, I can't remember who mentioned it earlier, he hasn't really implemented anything that you go, okay, he's come in and he's showing his own ideas. It's exactly the same how Stellini played. It's exactly the same how Conte played. So no, I think, no, you can't be doing that because no. For me, I think there's a big problem if he stays actually under as a coach under the new manager. For me, nothing against him. I think he's a really nice bloke. I don't think I don't want to see someone like him get. And I think what Sean said was exactly right. I think he needs to go out to the likes of a League One, maybe even a Championship team, and earn his stripes the right way. I think getting the Spurs job would be career suicide if he wants to become a full-time manager and stuff. For him, getting the Spurs job right now would be crazy, not just from us as a fan perspective, but him from a career base. And I think for me, no. I think however much obviously we love like Ryan Mason, Spurs lad and all that lot, you want to see one of your, you can't be, if he becomes Spurs manager, that is chaotic. Listen, I kind of get it why he's come out and said he wants the job. Why wouldn't you, by the way? Get paid a big chunk of money to achieve nothing. Listen, I'll take the Spurs job. There's no actual ambition to do anything, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just worrying. Like what I've seen this week, I'm seeing lots of different polls going around, and like where thousands of people are voting, and it's like, would you prefer Mason or Nagelsmann? And people are like, Mason's winning, and you're like,
Mad.
What's happening? Like, surely, like I'm not one of these, right? I'm not one of these people, and I see this a lot. There's a lot of people out there going, doesn't matter who's in charge, all the while Levy's here. Doesn't matter who's in charge at all. For me, it really does. For me, it really does matter who's in charge. Hence the reason why I didn't like people like Nuno and Conte and AVB. Do you know what I mean? It matters to me as a fan that we got someone in charge. But I don't know if you guys saw it on Sky Sports. Robbie Keane said that, you know, we've got the last few appointments wrong. You know, and the Spurs fans want to get behind a forward-thinking manager that wants to play football, you know, that wants to play, I'm not saying attractive football, but that wants to play on the front foot rather than what we've been building for the last 2-3 years, which has been negative football. Is he right, Pete? Is Robbie Keane right when he says that?
100%. And Gary Neville touched on it as well, if you listen to his commentary, where he said in the last few years, since Poch, we've sort of gone from playing proactive football to reactive football and playing in a way where all your team's behind the ball. And as he said, teams don't play, no one plays that way anymore. We're one of the very few that do. And so I wonder why we're crap. We have to get back to playing. You see Brighton yesterday, you see these players, even now Klopp starting to look at Trent and go, do you know what, rather than you get ripped up on a wing, why not put you in midfield and do something a bit different and add a bit of value there? All these managers are doing these different things now. We got to get on that. We got to get on that bandwagon, basically. We have to get back to playing decent football. It doesn't matter. I don't care how old they are, as long as they've got a clear plan of what they want to do and how they want to go about it, crack on. But we have to play someone who's a bit progressive and who's modern thinking. We can't be going to these defensive managers all the time. It's got to stop, because we've had 4 years of, well, let's be honest, apart from your games here or there, overall it's been fucking dreadful. And watching Tottenham now is a chore. It's not a pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen, absolutely. Just quickly, I apologise, Phil P. I did miss your super chat earlier, so Big up, much love to this guy. One of the nicest around. So Richie equals Levy of strikers, expensive and upsetting. And Chris Ewer has just put in a donation. So thank you very much. That's much appreciated, guys and girls. Please, if you would like to do a super chat, please do. 50% does go to the British Heart Foundation. It's a worthy cause. Please like, please subscribe. Let's help everyone hit to their target. And just remember that we are all Spurs fans. Just having a look at some of the comments. Lots of people, I haven't seen anyone really saying they want Mason in. And is back in the chat having a pop at me saying, yeah, so we want to play front foot football and Dier is getting a new contract. Be real and stop thinking we're on some project to win the league. I mean,
you gave him a timeout, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't learned his lesson, has he?
Do you know what I mean?
The Levy of the comment section never learns.
He's so aggressive though. Like couldn't he just come on and say, like, listen, I disagree. I don't think that blah blah blah. But I mean,
give him another 5 minutes. Give him another 5 minutes. Let's see if he learns that.
The Daniel Levy of the comment section is the best line I've ever heard. That's tickled me big time.
Here you go. Another one. Laugh at Matica said, question to Savva. You are quick to blame the manager, complaining football is crap. Conte is nowhere near the club for a month now. Are you going to use Mason as a scapegoat? What am I blaming Mason for? Has anyone heard me? Blame Ryan Mason for a single thing at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club? No. Right? But like Pete said, if you listen to what Gary Neville said and Robbie Kane, even Graham Souness said it, fans want to get behind someone that wants to play football. And for me, that's why I was never a Conte fan. Listen, this is why I always said I didn't think it was a good fit for him, because I don't think the fans were going to get behind that style of football enough. But I've not blamed. I don't blame. I keep saying this. I don't blame Conte for the club. I don't blame anything on Ryan Mason. He's just a young lad that's stepping in and helping out while he can. What I will blame Mason is if he gets the job, right? Then I will have lots to say. But let's just look, Spurs Bird. I didn't have an agenda against Conte. He's just not for me. I've never liked that style of football.
The year is 2026 and Savva's still getting blamed for the Conte sack. It's incredible.
Do you know what? Do you know what's funny, right? Is if you listen to what Robbie Keane said, and Robbie Keane was a quality player, right? Really top player. Robbie Keane turned around and said, Robbie Keane turned around and said that he's not a fan of the back three, back five, whatever you want to call it. He said that's not what he likes. He wants to see a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and managers like Potts who go and play football. That's all I've ever said. I don't understand why it's this huge big deal that I didn't like Antonio Conte. I don't understand it.
I didn't like his football either, mate. So
no, I'm just not. I'm just not a fan. Listen, more than anything,
I never liked him from the day he arrived. I only started my channel, so I can't really verify. I can't show you the receipts because I only started my channel after he arrived. But if you go back and watch Irish Hotspur from like December of 2021, when I first joined the community, ever since the Mura game, I was like, this guy. But I don't know why we signed him. I don't like him. Don't want him. So I stick to. I'm going to hold my hand up and say I never wanted the guy. Never fancied him as a manager. I know he's a winner, but can't stand. I'm all about good football, and he never plays it. So
the thing is, guys, for me. And I will actually let me just quickly come to this super chat. This super chat here from Mr. Box Office TV with Alex THFC. Is this you, Alex? Is this you?
That's the longest channel name I've ever seen.
I love the channel name.
Love it. Thank you very much. Just quickly before we move on, look. All I want to say is this, right? As a fan who has seen, I can only speak for myself, right? As a fan who hates that the club's got no direction, no plan. That's why I don't like managers like Conte, because Conte is a guy who turns up ready to win clubs, wins, and then moves on. His tenure average is 16 months wherever he goes, right? So I said it from the beginning, many did, that if you bring in that guy, you need to be ready to win, right? And we weren't ready to win. So all of these people saying, oh, you hounded him out of the club. I didn't hound him out of anywhere. He literally came onto every press conference for about 3 months, ranting and raving about the owners. I pretty much think, Pete, he was asking to move on, wasn't he?
Yeah, why have we been talking about this crap? We've had this conversation so many times.
It just
people
makes me
just
laugh.
don't let it go. Just let it go. Experiment, try it and fail. Move on.
Look,
Time for the next one. Hopefully this one don't fail.
Last thing I'll say, this is the thing, Spurs Birds. If you knew anything about Antonio Conte, yeah, it's not me that's impatient, it's him. He doesn't build. He's not. Anyway, moving on. Guys, let's talk about Harry Kane. Let's talk about
that's a great
Harry
topic.
Kane. I don't know if you saw it today. Harry Kane did an interview during the week with Sky Sports. They showed it today on Super Sunday. And Graham Souness ruined him and basically said that was a plan, like that was a media-trained interview. He said he needs to say what it actually is, basically that it was just all a bit, pre-rehearsed with his answers rather than actually showing feeling and fight for the club. Then you see him interviewed afterwards and he's going back to the old lines of, well, we've got some great players in that dressing room and it's down to us to go to the training pitch and blah, blah, blah. I can't help but think this is a guy that's ready to hand in a transfer request. Alex.
You know what? I totally agree with Souness. Absolutely, totally agree with him. Because I watched that. I didn't watch all of it. I think I just watched a snippet of it on Sky Sports before I went out. And yeah, absolutely. It was just so diplomatic. It was unbelievable, to be honest with you. And really, I don't think he's going to put transfer requests in though, Savva. I think he should do that. And I think people will have more respect for him if he does do that. But for me, I don't think he'll do it. I'll be surprised if he does it, and I'll be more respectful for him if he does it, because I think he needs to leave from his own self, because he just looks fed up. To be honest with you, I think he's just been kind. I think he's staying. The person he is, and that's it. But I totally agree what Souness is saying, because it was very diplomatic and very, you know what I'm trying to say. I can't think of the word. You know what I mean? But it did sound a bit like it wasn't to the point. Wasn't really saying how it is. You know what I mean? It was just really just being diplomatic, and that was it really.
Sean, you need to jump. Sorry, I've just seen it in private chat. You need to jump. Listen, thanks for coming on, dude. Really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please get over to Sean's channel and subscribe and help him get to the 7K mark.
Just before I leave, I just want to confirm that my interruption credits do carry over, because I feel like I've only used about £1 of my £10. All right, so
yeah, you can carry them over. Yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah,
it's fine. No worries.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers, thank you.
See you later, mate.
Mate.
People in the chat, please keep subscribing. Please do. Listen, hey, everyone here takes their time so that everyone's got something to watch. So please keep it clean in the chat as well. I think everyone's been a little bit rowdy tonight. Just keep it football. That's all it is. We're just all football fans. Pete, Harry Kane. Somebody here's made a really good point and said this: Kane boiling point coming. You can sense it. Is that the feeling you get with Harry Kane at the moment, Pete? That this is truly becoming a boiling point for him?
Yeah, I haven't seen the interview that he gave. I'll have to try and watch it after. I didn't get in till late, just after kickoff. So the third kickoff that was. But yeah, no. Listen, he ain't going to say anything in an interview now, because he learned from the old golf thing with Gary Neville and how that transpired, and like for the rest of the season. So I think he ain't going to say anything now that's going to sort of write any headline saying he's off. He's going to stay professional to that extent. And it's still not in his hands, regardless of what people think. It's not in his. Oh, he will leave. He cannot just leave. Someone has to then weigh in with money.
Of course. And
this is what people need to understand. Do I think that offer will come this year? I don't know. I think he probably would like it too. I think Daniel Levy's in a bit of a tricky situation, really, because he can't afford for him to go, really, in terms of where we are as a club, with the amount of grief he's getting at the moment, and especially this towards the back end of the season and the mood of the fans. I also can't afford to let a player like that go on a free in a year either, because you could get good money for him now. So it's a difficult one. Where does Kane go? I think it depends what Kane wants at the end of the day. If he wants to win the league, I don't think like City are coming in for him. I don't think United are going to win the league anytime soon. So So I think that one's out of the question. If he just wants to win a trophy, then, I mean, we could win a trophy in the time before he retires. We don't know. It's a difficult one. I mean, if he's tired of this club, I can understand that because I'm fucking tired of it at the moment. But do you know what I mean?
But do you think he must be getting bored? Like, he keeps doing these interviews now where, I mean, every time we lose or something like today happens, they will him out or Dier or Lloris, and it's always we've got great players. You know, it's down to us as a group to look at ourselves and how many years can he keep saying
all that crap? Yeah, I agree. And listen, I think he deserves better. If I'm honest, do I think that's a Man United? Although they're better than us at the moment, that could easily change round. I think they're not a million miles away from us. Bear in mind we've been better than them the last few years, like in terms of league position.
United.
Yeah, I don't think
they're miles better than us. United
they're playing football better at the moment.
Club.
What I'm saying is, in terms of where they are and where we are, there's not a million miles between us. Where we get the right manager, we can catch up or if not overtake, because you don't know what they're going to do either. It's not like going to City, is it? Let's be honest. And they're the standout. That's what I'm saying. So it's an even chance anywhere else. But I mean, the noises are Man United. I think the Chelsea one is a load of crap. He's never going to go there. Daniel never will sell him to Chelsea just because Poch is going there. I don't think that's not going to happen. I feel for him because he's carried this team and he's still carrying it. For him to get 25 goals this season in this team with no playmaker, nothing, and he's still got 25 league goals is an outstanding achievement. I don't think I spoke about enough. In terms of the original question, I just don't know what's going to happen. I really don't, because I think it'll be damned if we do, damned if we don't. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be allowed to get this far, but it is where it is.
Perchy, look, this is, for me, I don't know about you, I feel like this is going to be the story that dominates all of the summer. Unless he signs a new contract, it's going to be lots and lots of talk about Kane staying or going. Has he got time for a project? Because whoever comes in, they're going to have a project because we're Spurs. Has he got time for that? What would you do if you were him, Perchy?
If I was him right now, I'd be handing in a transfer request and basically saying, I won't be playing for Tottenham next season. I need to go, and get his agents and his people to be on the blower to whoever club. And I think, do you know what? This is going to be one of the biggest decisions that Daniel Levy is going to have to make. And the pressure is on him at the moment because you go two ways about it. He looks at it from the sustainability of the club and say, I could do with selling him if I can get 80 to 100 million pound for him. Not saying that's how much you'll get. I'm just saying, say someone puts down 80 million quid. Because I keep seeing everyone keeps saying, we won't sell to Chelsea. Well, we will if they put 100 million pound on the table for a player with 1 year left on his contract. Trust me.
Do you think he would? Do you think he 100%.
Would? 100%.
Look, he's already not a very liked person from the fan base. Do we truly believe that he will sell to Chelsea, knowing that would make his position at the club? I mean, I say untenable. You know what I mean? It would just. I mean, really? Do we? Really
he might not have a decision to make. He might not even be able to. He might have to do it. If Harry Kane puts in a transfer request tomorrow and says, I will play the rest of the season. However, next season I will be leaving this football club. And Chelsea are the only team that offer keep it simple, £100 million. We'd be crazy not to accept it. I'm not trying to say I want Harry Kane to go to Chelsea. I'd hate it. But I know what you're saying. And this is what I say. Daniel Levy's in probably one of the biggest dilemmas that he's ever had at this football club. And listen, maybe this is the right thing for him because he needs a bit of pressure here. Because it goes one of two ways. You sell Harry Kane and get, let's just keep it simple, 100 million quid. We'll keep saying that one. Or we keep him with it and he goes on a free in 12 months. Mm-hmm. So you have to look at it from both ways. If it was any other player and there was a player that was going on 1 year left on his contract and you get 100 million quid for, you're selling him. It's just because it's Harry Kane and everyone loves him because he's been at this club from minute one. As I said, I'm not here saying I want him to go to Chelsea because people will sit there and say that's what's going to happen. But I tell you what, if Chelsea are the only team that go in for him, what do? Do you stick or twist? Because for me, I'm at the point now where we need a plan post Harry Kane. I've said this, and I've said this on stream so many times. We have no plan, not even for post Hugo Lloris, who I think needs to be out of this football club at the end of the season.
Yeah.
We haven't got a plan post him, post Heung-min Son, post Harry Kane. What's the plan at this football club? Because there's no plan. Those three players, you could throw Perisic, but he hasn't really got any credit at this football club. He's just been here one season. But my point is these are lads in their 30s now, or in the latter ends of their careers, who may have 1, maybe 2 years left on their contract. What's the plan? Because for me, and exactly, someone just said Kane's building a house in London. So that rules out clubs abroad. Would he be happy to do the trip to Manchester every single week?
But why would him building a house in London rule out him leaving London? Isn't he like a multi-millionaire footballer with properties everywhere, probably?
Well, he might. We know he's very much a family man. He's just had a new. He's got a baby on the way. Yep. Maybe let's be honest. The wife will say, "No, we're not leaving London. The kids are happy here. We're happy here." Listen, these things happen in football, with family life.
Do you reckon though that if Harry Kane turns around to his wife and says, we're going to play for Man United, they're going to give me 500 grand a week, for my last big contract at the age of 30, right? You think his missus is going to pull the plug?
No. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But my point is these. If, for example, if the contracts are exactly the same, one at Chelsea and one at Man United, the wife's going, can we stay here in London? I'm not saying it. I'm just saying in balance. For example, Chelsea might not even come in for him. By the way, I'm just sort of talking hypotheticals. I'm more talking about it. If Man United go, do you know what? We want to get Osimhen as our number 9. Then you look at it and go, what other sort of big club need a number 9 that's going to go and they're going to willing to go and get you 20, 30 goals a season? Chelsea are probably the only sort of, in air quotes, big football club that are going to want to go for him. So it's a problem. We're in a dilemma, because in a weird way, you could argue if Harry Kane wants it financially, his best bet is to wait out for another season. If we're talking specifically financially, because we know that as soon as he's available on a free contract, trust me, there'll be contracts flying in for Harry Kane north of 400 grand a week, 500 grand a week. If that kind of makes sense.
I absolutely agree with you, Perchy, what you said, everything. Because I think he's a possibility of going to Chelsea. Absolutely, because it's a no-brainer for him, especially if Poch goes there.
Yeah,
I don't think he does. I don't think he does go Chelsea. I think he cares about his legacy at the club.
But
I think he'll ruin that by going Chelsea, and I think he cares about that a lot.
I don't think it really matters, though, Pete. I don't think it really matters, really. Because at the end of the day, he's going to look at it like this. Okay, is that he's done how many years at Tottenham? He's not won no trophy, right? He wants to win a trophy because the fact is he looked so down. It wasn't reason he was down because he missed that penalty in the World Cup for England. It was because he's sitting there thinking, when's it going to happen? Right? When's the trophy going to happen? Right? Because I'm sitting here with Henderson and Foden and most of those players that have got trophies, and I've got nothing to my name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's Groundhog Day, and what Perchy's saying is absolutely spot on. He ain't going to abroad because of his family, and that's it. So there's only two couple of options: Manchester United and then Chelsea. You could possibly put Newcastle in that, but I don't think Newcastle at that point.
No,
at that point at the moment.
Why wouldn't he go Newcastle, guys? Why wouldn't he go Newcastle?
He's not going to go there, is he? They're not.
He ain't going
He's not going to go there.
They've already just spent 75 million.
Newcastle can't afford him. They can't afford him for their FFP.
Yeah, exactly.
Starters. They got no way of paying his wages either. Forget about how much money the owners have got. They cannot spend that sort of money as a club at the moment. They need a long time to build that up. Listen, I think we're doing Kane a bit of a disservice here. He might think, do you know what? I'm guaranteed to be a legend here. If I win a trophy with Tottenham, it'll mean much more to him than winning a trophy elsewhere. Yeah, you got to factor that into the thing as well. No, we all talk like what we would do, and it makes sense to us. But he's not your average footballer. He's different, isn't he? He's not.
That's fair.
He's not interested in the glitz and the glamour and all that. He's not interested. You know what I mean? He might think, you know what, I'm happy doing like a Matt Letizia, and he might have come to terms with that. I think maybe 2 years ago, he probably wasn't at that thing. But I think since the Man City thing fell through, I think he's personally, in my opinion, he's come to terms with how his career is going to end, and he's going to. I'll either win one, I win it with Tottenham, or it's not worth anyone at all anymore because I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win the league.
The only problem with that, though, Pete, is that we still. I do like the analogy what Sean says. You're kicking the can down the road. Kane will go soon because
I think they'll have to do something this summer. But I wouldn't rule out him signing a contract and staying at the club.
I hear what you're saying.
That's not about the round possibility. We cannot let it linger. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. We cannot let it linger. Yeah,
and he's getting older now, so we're gonna have to think of a plan without Kane, regardless.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, but I'd rather start that plan with Kane, and not make the mistake where we always make, where we let a player go, and then we start trying to find the plan. Yeah, really, what we should do now, exactly what we've done with Hugo. Don't make that mistake. Have him there, and have someone else coming in to learn from him, work with him, so that transition is less painful and a bit more seamless. Do you know what I mean? Because we've never done that, and I think that's probably worth more to us in the long term than. I know 100 million sounds a lot of money, but in reality, in football, you can throw that down the pisser very quickly. And I think Kane's value as a player to the club at the moment is worth a lot more than that.
I think those conversations need to be happening right now. Well, obviously the conversation's already happening anyway. You all know that.
Well, we're surprised it's already done and we just don't know yet.
But I think at the moment that conversation needs to be sorted quickly and make sure that is kind of ironed out, because going into the final year of his contract, I don't think it's going to do any disservice. I don't think it's going to do any well for Tottenham having him in his last year of his contract, especially in January when foreign teams can talk to him, because I think it's just going to give it even more of a mess. And I don't think the manager's going to be happy either, to be honest with you. Whoever.
No, this is another thing. The new manager coming in, we are in such a mess at the moment. We cannot then. We've got to find a new manager, a new academy manager, a new women's manager, a director of football if we have one. We've got to do so much transition. We've got to find a new goalkeeper, a back four. We don't really want to be adding another top striker to that list. Yeah, we just can't do it. Yeah, we ain't even done stuff. We haven't even replaced Kyle Walker yet, and he left nearly 6 years ago. Yeah, we cannot
replace Ericsson, etc. Yeah,
exactly. We've got so much to do. I don't think we can afford to do that. So I've got a funny feeling he stays and signs a deal. I think he's come to terms with his career, where he's not going to win a league. Yeah, because he ain't going to go City, and no one else I don't think is going to win one off City. I think they'll win the league for the next few years quite easily if they keep Haaland. If I was him, I'd get the record, and then next time you play Haaland, break his leg so he can't fucking play anymore, and you keep your record, because he ain't going to have it for long the way Haaland's going. I think that's his motivation.
This is a great point, by the way, because Haaland's release clauses activates in 2024. That could be. Imagine if Real Madrid activate his release is ridiculously 200 million euro release clause, or whatever it is 200, and Real Madrid activate it like they said they want to, and Kane could go to City on a free.
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, I have Real Madrid got 230 million or whatever.
Don't forget the new FFP rules. The new FFP rules come in this year.
I tell you.
Yeah, I think it's like for me. I think look, the Kane conversation we've had it so many times, and I think it's getting more and more difficult, as you said, Pete and Alex. Let me get your take on this. Is with Man City being so dominant, how they are. I suppose the days have gone now where you could go, well, if he goes there, he's going to get a trophy. If he goes here, he's going to get a trophy, because City are gobbling everything up, right? City could do a treble this year. So if he goes to Man U, they're not guaranteed. If he goes to Chelsea, they're not guaranteed anymore. Newcastle won't be able to afford him. Liverpool have got about 95 strikers. The pot is running down of options for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I think the argument is at the moment, and I'm just trying to think of what's in his head at the moment. How many years have I tried at Tottenham and it's not worked? You know what I mean? And there's only so much you can take. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's at fault as well because at the end of the day, if you're a great player, you make yourself known in the semi-finals and finals as well. So there's an argument there as well. Okay, but you can see it from his point of view, though, that he will want something to show that he's done something this career. I don't think he'll be comfortable with just no trophies like that. You see,
Alex,
so
do you think he would go Chelsea just to win an FA Cup or a League Cup and then ruin his legacy at Tottenham? I
for
don't think
me
he
at the
does.
moment, it's a question of whether how would he feel comfortable being at Tottenham for the whole of his career with no trophies, or feel that and stay, or know that he's tried his best to go somewhere else and win a trophy. At least he says he's tried, and that's it.
Yeah, but we're saying a trophy. But let's be honest, the only thing he's going to be interested in winning really is the league. Yeah, I know he's not won a trophy at Tottenham.
How do we know that, though? How do we know that?
That's my belief. I think his best chance of winning a trophy is actually with England if we get rid of the idiot running it now, and not a club level. And I think if he won like the World Cup or the Euros with England, I think that would have done for him because he's won something. Because he really loves representing his country. It really means a lot to him. So I think that is probably. And let's be honest, we still, even though England are crap to watch and Gareth Southgate's dreadful, they still get there or thereabouts. Do you know what I mean? So I think you get rid of him and get a better manager in England, and I think that's his best chance of winning a trophy. I think he knows that as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to ruin his whole legacy at Tottenham to win a league or FA Cup with a Chelsea. I don't think he does it personally. I think what he's done at Tottenham for so long means more to him than that. If you said going 2 years ago, going to City to win the league and be a league champion, I think that's different. But I don't see it for a minor trophy. That's just my take on it.
Let me ask you this then. As Spurs fans, and we're all Spurs fans, everyone in the chat, please let me know here, just a yes or no. If Harry Kane, hypothetical, if Harry Kane signed for Chelsea, does all respect for him and everything he's done for this club in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, does that all go out the window for you guys, the fact that he's going down there?
Could I just answer this quickly? No.
It doesn't.
I've got no. It doesn't change my opinion on him because for me, he's gave us a great service, and he's done his best. Okay, regardless what I've said before, and I've said he's a loser, and regardless that he hasn't done it in semi-finals and finals, this guy has tried his best. He's given a great account of himself. Let's be honest here, because some players. You don't hear a lot in the papers about him behind, in his personal life at all. He's handled himself really well. He's been loyal to Tottenham as well. Yes, he's been paid very well. Yes, I know that. But for me, I think he just needs to do what he needs to do for himself now. I think he's done enough what he can do for Tottenham. And I'm sorry, I'm not gonna have any bad feelings for him. No, I won't. No.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm seeing there's lots of no's, lots of yeses. Perchy, where do you stand on this? Because it's a difficult one, isn't it? He's a club legend, but if you go down to Chelsea, I could understand if he was going to. I'm not saying this hasn't happened, by the way. This is just a hypothetical game. If he was going to go down to the Chelsea and replace a Drogba and play alongside Lampard and Deco and Terry, you go, yeah. But to leave and go to this Chelsea, would that make you query him, Perchy? Does he get a free pass because he's Harry Kane?
Yeah, I think he does. I don't think I would. I wouldn't sit there. I wouldn't be one of these going, "Oh, I'll applaud him when he turns up against us in a blue shirt." No chance. But I wouldn't be. I'll be sitting there going, I'll be more critical on us as a football club, how we've let him down, like collectively let him down, to the chance where we could have gone and won something massive with him, and we chose not to. I think my anger will be displaced elsewhere, understandably, not on Harry Kane. But here's one bit, and I'm just going to sort of flip it. If if Harry Kane went to Chelsea, surely that would be some sort of tipping point for a lot of people who are very much on the balance of the owners, would it not? Because for me,
I agree.
the anger should be displaced at the owners for allowing something to happen. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Listen, I mean, that's a great point, guys, and we are gonna go for another 5 minutes where we end in the show at 10:15. Please keep liking, keep subscribing. Just keep liking and keep subscribing. 5 more minutes. Guys, is it gonna need something drastic like that for more people to join the Levy out kind of motion? So we've seen a lot has happened in the last couple of weeks. You know, we've had protests. The singing from the stands has become a lot more noticeable. You've got the yellow and gold until we're sold. That's going round. Will it need something really drastic to happen for some people to tip, Pete? Like Kane going to a rival?
I don't know. I'll be honest, because I'd like to think a lot of them should have reached that point by now, and it doesn't seem to happen. Like I said to you lot before, when we played Arsenal this year in January, we hadn't signed anyone. We were poor to watch. And the feeling was bad then. And you think, right, you get tonked by Arsenal in your ground, and it's going to kick off big time because we were desperate to sign money. We needed a right back. The whole Porro thing was dragging on, and they want to peep. And even now, you think Thursday, right, this is the most hostile I've ever seen it. Every Spurs post is getting spammed with Levy out and all that sort of stuff. Even today, this carrying on. I will say the stuff doing it on the Anfield Memorial was stupid.
Yeah, I was just going to say that people that are doing that
took it
have a word
down
with yourselves.
Yeah, do it. There's a time and place for it. That weren't it.
Exactly.
It's just stupid. And it just reaffirms what some people say about the group of people.
Yep.
And there's good people in that group of people and that movement that don't deserve that. But I don't know. You think Thursday, right? This is it. It's going to go mental now. You 2-0 down to United in 30 minutes. Did you get any sense it was going to kick off in the ground? I didn't. And you think we keep thinking this is that boiling point is coming. And it doesn't come.
It doesn't quite come.
Yeah.
What I noticed was I thought fair play to all the guys and girls that were protesting. Fair play to them, especially in some absolutely dreadful weather. And this is a double-edged sword, right? Is that from only from what I saw, I wasn't in the stadium on Thursday night, but it felt quite loud. The whole Levy out, and we want our Tottenham back, and all that kind of singing. But then it was almost a double-edged sword that the moment we scored with Porro and then were looking to go on the ascendancy, it stopped. And obviously people want to get behind the fans, and that's the right thing to do. But at some point, doesn't there need to be just a continual 90 minutes of Levy out every song? Like, do you know what I mean?
No, Savva, you're right. And if you use Man United as a great example here, when Man United scored their goals, they were singing Glazers out. When they were winning, they were 2-0 up in 40 minutes against Spurs, and they're singing "We want Glazers out." With us, we do it when we go 2-0 down. But I've always said this, and I've said this so much. The movement is only strong when we're winning. It's all well and good when we're getting battered at St James's Park and we're 5-0 down in 20 minutes. It's all well and good singing it then. The time to sing it realistically is when we're winning games. It should be continuous, win, lose or draw. Like, we want change, and I think that for me is the hard part, because it's then what you get the cynics of it all that will go, well, they only want change when they're losing. They don't care when we're winning. When we're playing well, they don't care. And for me, that's when it needs to be. That's for me when it needs to change. Like, we have to be much more vocal, not just when we're losing, but also when we're winning, also when we're drawing. But as Pete said, and I mentioned earlier about people posting it on memorials and stuff that's not relevant for this sort of conversation, don't do that, because you just make yourself look like an absolute idiot for commenting on like the Justice for 97 memorial post that the club made. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, let me come to you, and then I'll finish with you, Pete. Look, did you go on Thursday night? You went?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like? Obviously, like from watching on the TV, it's going to be very different. But what was it like from a Levy out perspective? The chants, the singing. What was the kind of feeling within the ground?
I think it's a bit of both. I think there is an undertone of discontent with the fans at the moment, frustration, and yeah, there was a little bit of chance about Levy out, and they want Tottenham, and then I think after we got back, I think that changed to the original chant of Tottenham Hotspur and cheering on the players, I think, as well.
Yeah.
For me, I'm very subdued when I'm there. I'm very calm, maybe because I had my chicken before and my chicken and chips before, because I know how to prepare myself for the games. I know I'm not going to see great football, but yeah, I think it's a bit mixed. I think for me, but it is very intense in there, very intense between the fans. Ourselves at the moment, because there are people that are having a go at each other. I don't think I saw fights, but I know there's fights in the stadium because of the discontent with the club at the moment. And yeah, I think, it is. The word toxic. It is very toxic, and yeah, it is very frustrating at the moment. It's not a great time at the moment, I think, and I don't know how. I think the only thing I will say is, and I think it's very, very important, is that I think the only way this can get better is if we all stick together. Now, I'm not saying. I'm not trying to do a rally cry here, because let's be real. In real life, it's not always like that. Everybody's not going to always agree, and that's it. I've got to say that. But I think it's very, very important that our own focus should be on what is good for Tottenham Hotspur, and that's it. On what my feelings are at the moment, it will never ever change, because I've made my mind up already about this. And I've said it on my channel already, and I close every single time, and I'll say it like this: I'm leaving out all day, every single day, and that's all I need to say. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
Well, there you go, Pete. let's finish off with you, mate. Yeah, look, I think there's been some real positives for the things that people have been doing this week. I think we've got to say that. I think it was really good. Saw a few of the guys like Brian Daigle and Bob, etc., getting interviewed by, I believe, TalkSport. I think Sky are now starting to show a bit more. It feels like there's more happening, but I just don't know. What's going to make him sell? Do you know what I mean? Not him, Enoch. I don't know what's going to make them sell. Do you? Is there an answer?
Well, £5 billion probably. I don't think as fans we can make them sell anything. I think the only time we can really put pressure on that point of view is if there's someone is willing to make an offer or makes an offer, and then we can all come out and go, right, sell, you bastards. You got your money on it. You got your offer. Now take it and get lost. Do you know what I mean? And it really go that way. But the fans are still so split. They are still so split. As Perch said, like, I mean, I have one in the ground, but 1 minute it's Levy out. You go 2 all, then it's Mason in. Do you know what I mean? Give him the job. And that's all going. I mean, you see pictures of the concourse. It's all ran with people having pints and stuff like that, and well within their rights to do that. But it doesn't look like a fan base from that point of view that are hell bent on getting his owners out. Do you know what I mean? There's no sort of noise on that during half time or anything like that. I personally believe there's still a vacuum where people are wanting to flock to a banner, but the banner's not there yet for a large majority of the fan base, where they don't really want to be. I don't want to go with the Levy out crowd or Unique out crowd, because I'm grateful for some of the stuff they do, but I do want change at this club, and that sort of banner that sort of banner doesn't exist at the moment. I think once someone takes that up, then I think we might see a more concentrated movement. In the meantime, I think it's going to be fractured with someone in this someone in that. And do you know what I mean?
I feel like it's definitely swaying, though. I do feel. Look,
I agree.
I do feel that it's. I've never seen it as noisy, and I don't just mean in the stadium. Like lots of people that I used to speak to on Twitter ages ago, I'm now when I'm in WhatsApp groups and being sent through. Look what this person tweeted. They were very hard. Leave Enoch in, and now are very much.
I've seen a lot of that. I agree with that. Yeah,
Enough.
A
Enough
lot
is
of moderate
enough.
split.
Yeah, but look, essentially, what we are saying, right, is I think we all acknowledge this, right, that even if they turn around and say, "Okay, we will sell," you do need a buyer to come in and put £4.5 billion down or whatever Levy and Enoch think is the right number. So, look, let's hope that happens. Lots of people saying that they'd love whoever doesn't get the Man United gig to hopefully then
Radcliffe. Is it Radcliffe?
Yeah,
He's pulled out. Yeah.
But it was just on Jim Radcliffe though. If you've seen like what Nice fans think of him, they're not. A lot of it is also on that side of things. You've got a lot of. If you look at Nice fans and what their thoughts on Jim Radcliffe, because he owns them, they're now protesting. They want their old owners back. So I don't want to be.
He can't own us.
Yeah.
By the rules. I think there's got to be, as much as we want the owners out, there's got to also be an appreciation of the risk that any new owners are not by default going to be better than Enoch. You can get worse. There can be worse, and that is a lot of counter argument for a lot of fans who are more sympathetic towards the board. You have to accept that possibility that there is worse out there, because this club is a very attractive opportunity to milk fans dry. Yeah, and without
I just
even
want an
doing
owner that actually cares about us as a football club.
Yeah, we want a football club, but not a business opportunity.
I want us to. I don't care about the thing is. I've always been one of those. I don't care about all the deals because and I think we made a point on this show before where we've gone and said the reason to protest should have been when we were knocking down White Hart Lane, because we're putting in a multi-purpose complex where a football stadium used to be. And then the thing is we then accepted it. Oh, massive, beautiful stadium. Great, happy days. But for me, we knew that they were going to start shoving as much crap into that stadium as possible. So listen, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as we have an actual plan on the football side, is what I say. I
think that let me come back to that. First of all, Shafay Zajad, thank you, has become a channel member. If anyone else would like to be, please, you can become a channel member. And once we get to a decent size, we'll do channel member only shows. And also there is a super chat from Rooksy Pop. Not seen you for a while, my man. Hope you are well. Who said, how on earth are Dier and Højbjerg footballers? We won't listen. I hear you, my man. I hear you. I won't start this conversation now because we will be here until 10 o'clock next Sunday. Just quickly, guys, people in the chat. There's still 300 people in the chat. Thank you so much for watching us for the last couple of hours. Please, just under 50 away from 5K. If even 5 of you haven't subscribed, please go in and subscribe and help me get to 5K. It'd be much appreciated. And please subscribe to everyone else here. I just think the last thing I'll say on this, guys, is I think there were still a lot of people, though, that assumed and that were very convinced that once the stadium was built, once we've been in it for a while, that the revenue streams would come in and everything would be fine. But from my point of view, I've not got a problem with leaving Enoch for how much they spend. That's not my, that's never been my gripe. You know, when I hear people saying, oh, they're tight, they're not actually tight. If you look at the books for how much they spend
in the league.
Right. It's got to be a plan. That's the key thing. So we've built this stadium, great. Revenue's there, great. But there's no footballing plan, and there hasn't been for as long as I can remember. We stumbled across the Poch-Mitchell relationship, and since then, whatever we've tried has just not been right. So listen, I'll leave it there, though, guys. Listen, Pete, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Alex, big up. Thank you for telling us stories of chicken eating, and hopefully we'll
talking
some
some stats as well, and talking some good.
Oh yeah,
that as well.
Yeah, that as well, mate. Yeah. That as well. Perchy, big up, my man. Hope you get to 1,000 soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. Everybody, please, as I said, please like, please subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the next episode of the Spurs review. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Ta-ra.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.